Hi, Kim Duke.
Hey, Chris Duke.
How are you doing?
Good.
You know I can hear you chewing, as always, right into that
It's
microphone.
delicious. I like to eat these because I put the cheese and then I put a peanut and then a raisin, like a little sandwich.
You know what? Divorce. I can't handle it anymore. What's today?
The third.
The 3rd. You know what tomorrow is?
What's tomorrow? I work. It's Monday.
Kid.
It's our anniversary.
All right. You know what? Eat those
Hold on.
last two things.
It's our anniversary.
Our marriage turns into a teenager tomorrow.
13 years. No more 12 years a slave.
Ooh.
No,
That is true. We did say that.
You said that.
Well, I mean, 13 years of wadded bliss.
Yeah.
Remember, you got to stay close to me when you're on this side.
I don't even want to be on
But
camera.
tomorrow's 13 years.
13 years.
Do you have anything to say for yourself?
I did a damn good job sticking with you for 13 years. Is that what you want me to say?
I think legally, after 13 years, you get a receipt and they say, all right, do you guys still want to be married? And if we don't want to, then we just,
It's annulled?
yeah.
Oh.
It gets analed and then we don't have to be married anymore. What do you think?
You want me to say mean stuff. I'm not going to say mean stuff.
All right. I love you too. You're pretty beautiful and hardworking. You cleaned the shit out of the garage today, which is rad.
I picked up the bikes on my own and hung them up.
Who are you looking at when you say that?
The wall. The camera can tell, or do you when you record?
No, when I do this, it's just the one angle.
Yeah, that was scary. Landon's bike was hard, and I'm like, I'm not gonna ask Chris for help. I'm gonna do this and look like a badass. Layla's bike was easy, and then my bike, I was like, oh shoot, this is gonna be tough, and I got it. And I'm like, go get your dad quick. Tell him to come out here. Don't tell him what I did.
You're just teaching your daughter unsafe work practices.
No, she held the ladder as I climbed up it with holding the bikes.
It's very good. You're doing a great job, and I love you.
Thank you. I love you too.
Okay, great. Good job. Today's guest is Zach Ashton's dad. He's also president of the Bloomington Albino chapter, or Bloomington chapter. I said that backwards. He also has dyslexia and would love to show you where the break room is at Menards. Ladies and gentlemen, we have Casey Flesch here today.
Hey, thank you so much. I wish I was dyslexic. That'd be so funny. That'd be out of control, man. I also take no responsibility for Zach Ashton in any capacity.
I knew of you before seeing you, but the first time, so we actually saw you.
Whoa, wait, hold on. I'm just gonna jump. You knew of me?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
In what way? Like, this is fascinating to me.
So I had seen you doing shows with other comedians that I had met.
Sure. Okay.
A lot of
Like
it.
you saw his name on.
Yeah. On like Comedy Quarter Underground and stuff like that.
Sense. Got you.
And then we went to Kill Tony when they came to Minneapolis.
Yeah.
And we saw you there.
You both were there?
Yeah.
That was his Father's Day gift.
We brought Ryan
nice
Middendorf to that show.
Oh, Ryan was unbelievable, man. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, that was ridiculous.
Shit, man. That kid was so fucking funny.
Getting Jeremiah and Joel to scissor on stage.
Yeah. That was beautiful, man.
Yeah,
that was
really
so
funny.
funny. That was unreal. So that's pretty cool, though, that you guys were there. I still get people telling me, like, random people tell me they saw me there.
Yeah.
Really?
It's so weird. Like, I don't know, like
in passing, or they've come to shows you're at?
it'll usually be at a show, like
Yeah.
like before or after or whatever. But like, it's still weird to me when people will recognize me or say that they've seen me in play, because like I forget that people watch comedy. You know, like
Yeah.
I figured that it's like a thing that people are like fans of. So
Oh, right.
So like when people are like, "Oh, I love this," or like when somebody comes up and like says a joke back to you, it's like, "What? Why? No!" Like it makes me feel a little weird and strange.
Yeah, I can't wait. It sounds
I can't wait.
sounds awesome. But no, so the first thing that I noticed, obviously, your jokes are fantastic, but you did a thing that I've only seen professional comedians do,
Oh God.
which is you put your foot on the monitor
Oh yeah.
on stage.
Dude, that's my favorite stance.
See, and I knew. So
That's
as
funny.
soon as
you
I
talked
saw,
about that recently because we saw Tom Segura, and you're like, he puts the foot.
Yep.
On the,
I
okay.
It's
said,
a fucking power move.
Yeah.
well, and you, yeah, that's what I was gonna say. You know, someone's comfortable on stage, like when they. Like, did you see somebody else do that, or were you just eventually like, "This is my fucking home"?
It comes from like rock and roll,
Yeah.
like concerts and stuff. Like singers and people would put those on the wedge monitors. Like I get so excited when a stage has wedge monitors for me to do that, because then I feel like a rock star, which is what I think everybody secretly wants to be.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Like even my first set ever was at Acme, and I have like I have it on video, but I also have like a still shot from that video with my foot up on the stool, like Captain Morgan style. It's just my stance. Like I like it. I think it's fun.
Well, that's awesome.
I didn't realize it skyrocketed me into the levels of professional comedy.
Well, but it plays into like the way that you're describing, talking about rock stars and things like that. It just talks more about what those things are. You know that. Like
Yeah.
no normal person is going to walk on stage and put their foot up on that thing.
No,
Like you got to know your surroundings
Yeah.
and be comfortable with the crowd to like it feels like another way to let them know like, hey, I'm in
Yeah.
charge. Hope you guys are ready. This is going to be great.
Yeah.
Like
Well,
that-
yeah, like specifically at Kill Tony too, it was fun, like to just it lets me like lean in a little bit more and like just be a little bit more aggressive, even though like I'm not trying to like bloody anybody's noses or anything, but
Yeah,
like
yeah.
it's like the one thing that I see a lot of comics do, especially in Minneapolis at open mics, a lot of comics will look at the ground when they say their punchlines, and to me that instantly says they're not confident in their work, which I mean I do it too all the time, but like with new jokes I say the punchline, and then if it doesn't hit right away, I kind of like look down a little bit. But if you watch people who know what they're doing, they're straightforward the whole time.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
Like all you gotta, it's all just fake confidence, man. That's all it is.
Yeah. Yeah, you
Fake
got
it
to
till you make it.
Yeah, exactly.
That is fake it till you make it.
I do that at work too.
Although I don't know how you could fake lift a bike, so kudos to that.
That
I
is
did
good.
it. I didn't fall off the ladder either. I got really worried for. I did a stance too. I had to put my foot up on the one thing.
Yeah, power stance,
Yep.
baby.
Now you just got back from some shows up and over in Fargo,
Fargo, yeah.
which is in North Dakota, not Minnesota.
Well, I mean, barely.
Yeah. Over the river.
Yeah, just barely. Like,
Do they have snow there yet?
no, there was
No.
more snow when we came home last night than there was up there. Lester and I went for a walk. I was there with Mike Lester, and we the club offered us a little chunk of cash to not take our hotel for Saturday night, and so we would drive home instead. And then we were like, well, yeah, we'll do that for sure. And then we didn't take into account the fact that you have to check out of a hotel at 11 a.m. and then you don't have a show until 7 that night. So
And what kinds of things can you do in Fargo for 8 hours?
I'll walk you through it. So
Okay.
this is going to be the longest episode ever because we're going minute by minute.
I want to know
Thank you.
details.
We woke up, we had breakfast. Okay, we went down
Continental?
to the Continental. Yeah, which was actually pretty good. But they had these ham discs that were
Ham discs. Like
Yeah.
Canadian bacon, like discs?
yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah. Lester ate a few of them, and then he had diarrhea all day, and I skipped the ham discs, so I was feeling fine. So, our day was centered around finding Mike a bathroom. So we had breakfast, and we went to a Starbucks in a Target, and then walked around Target. We were looking for like action figures and stuff. Mike collects like wrestling figures.
Oh,
That's
shit.
funny.
Yeah, like, and I like used to be interested in that stuff, but now have like drifted away. So it was fun to like look at all that stuff again with somebody who really knows what they're talking about and stuff.
Yeah.
And then we went to the mall, which was it was good. It was okay.
Decent sized mall.
It was a pretty good mall. It seemed like the whole town of Fargo was there. People were just openly drinking beer in the mall. Like,
What?
You know how
Is that a thing in North Dakota?
I don't know. I guess because like
Oh.
you know the malls now all have like kids play areas.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
stuff. There was like a group of like 6 like just soccer moms with their little cans of beer. They weren't even trying to hide it. It was just like they were just chugging
Wow.
it right by the kids play
Hell
area.
yeah.
Then we saw Zombieland 2.
Oh,
That's out now?
yeah.
Oh yeah, it's been out
Oh,
for a while.
shit.
Yeah.
I know. We're missing a lot of movies.
God
We
damn
haven't
it.
seen Joker. We
You guys haven't seen that one yet either?
No.
Dang.
trying to go on
Maleficent.
Saturday. We'll do that Saturday.
Yeah. It's fun. It's okay. It's pretty good. But yeah. Then that was about it. Overall, we and then we went to dinner and then we went to the show. But all of that ended up we spent more money than what they gave us to not take
stay
the room. So
yeah.
you know whatever. But it was still the shows were unbelievable. They were both sold out. I'll give Mike the credit for that one. He's got quite the following up there actually.
Wow.
So. And they were wonderful. What do you got? A
What's the
noise
matter?
happening?
Yeah,
Your
some.
stove.
It's probably your damn microwave
Your
refrigerator.
microwave is absolutely running right now.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
have a pacemaker. You got to turn that off.
Okay. Well, yeah, I think it is. Whatever. I'll just leave it.
You just got so concerned.
Because it was like slowly creaking, so it sounded like it was moving, but it's fine. It's whatever.
It's probably your poorly adjusted spine creaking back there.
You got a bad spine?
I do have a bad
Yeah,
spine.
he does.
You got insurance?
I mean, like car insurance? Is that what you're talking
spine
about?
insurance. You get
Oh,
a new one
sure.
every 30 miles or whatever.
Yeah, I have actually the blinker fluid for my spine is pretty low.
Ooh,
Yeah.
that's bad.
Yeah. I keep bumping into people because they don't know which way I'm going. From behind. Like, I'll be, I'm going to go left, I know. But they don't know. And they try to.
in this riff right now until you talk your way out of it. I get it. No.
So your shows got done at what? 10?
About 9, actually. It was the
Okay.
7
And then like
o'clock.
a 4-hour drive home?
3.5.
Oh,
well,
okay.
and then I had to drop Mike off, and then another 15 back to my house. So I mean, I was still home by 1:30.
Oh, okay.
So it was like a normal
Before bar
night.
closed. So.
Yeah. The great thing about the cellar in Fargo is, well, first of all, the staff is fantastic. They are top notch, and then there's only one show each night, and it's at 7.
Oh.
So you're done by 9, and you're out of the club by 9:30. Like,
hell yeah.
And you can do whatever you want, like go
to
back
the
to
mall?
the hotel and sleep or work on stuff. Go to the mall, maybe.
Have a
like,
beer, watch your kids.
drive home with your kids and your beer, and
Dude, I will say, like, the most aggressive experiences, like drinking experiences I've had have both been in Fargo.
oh sure,
Yeah. Like, I think I didn't have any money, so I just had a water bottle full of 99 bananas.
Oh, okay, yeah. No, Kim,
So I was like-
you've made a disgusted face at this.
Anything 99.
Yeah.
Ugh.
yeah.
Okay.
It's
I don't even think we were dating when this happened.
no.
So that
this
was a
like
long time ago.
fresh out of high school.
Congratulations on your big anniversary. But I was being professional and not speaking until I was introduced. But congratulations.
Thanks.
Thank you.
That's a very long time.
Which has got to hurt with your divorce. We're not trying to rub it in your
yeah,
face,
yeah.
but
Yeah.
Well,
anyways.
it's fine.
Okay. Um,
I'm so I wanted to just go down, but man, I'm out of it today.
that's okay. But anyways, and I was assuming that I was gonna like mix that with other chasers and stuff.
Oh, sure.
But I just ended up drinking that water bottle on its own.
Just all 99
Yeah,
bananas.
yeah.
You didn't leave one in
And
there.
just the most ridiculous stuff kept happening. Like, at one point, at one point he also tried smashing a 40-ounce on his head.
Ooh.
And failed
forehead?
both times. Yeah.
Ooh.
Hit it on his head. Like he kept doing the and then
Dude, okay, quick aside, I used to do that at parties
With 40s?
with just 12-ounce beer bottles. But the thing is, I worked at this glass tempering place in St. Michael at the time. So I had a little glass cutter that would score the glass and then make it so you could flick it and break it. And so I would cut it sneaky and then go break it over my head, and everybody would be like, let me try. And they'd try with real bottles, and oh my God, they were idiots. They were absolute idiots. It was so fun because mine would just shatter, no effort. But they would be like, bam, bam, just hitting them. So it was.
That's funny.
They're idiots, man. They're all dead now.
They all had CTE
Yeah.
and killed.
they
They went on murder sprees.
they actually met up like for a reunion and all at the same time had a CTE flare up and killed.
Yeah, that was
It was-
9/11 actually. That's what that was.
So anyways, this dude
Sorry,
is
is this a 9/11 joke
trying to
podcast?
smash his
Yes.
fucking these 40 ounces and it's not working. And then he decides that they want to go and try and find chicks. So he goes,
He's got 40 welts on his head.
we go into the garage and he goes, this is my garage, and he punches a hole in the wall of the sheetrock in the garage. And then we drove around 2 blocks. He saw some people that he recognized. They yelled some things at each other, and then we drove right back to the house. And then these girls ended up showing up later. Like,
What was so crazy about this night? Just that crazy guy?
hold on.
I mean, get to the
getting
point,
there.
man.
Ooh,
So
dang,
I
she's calling
finished
you out,
all
man.
of the 99 bananas. And
You hate banana flavor.
I like
Now.
fake banana flavor.
Oh.
Artificial bananas.
like runts.
Yeah, exactly. Whatever,
And, like,
whatever
the
that
Laffy
fake
Taffy
banana.
ones.
Whoever said that this is what bananas taste like, try again. That is not.
It's
what
probably a
bananas
texture
Well,
thing.
have you heard that thing where like Americans have never had like bananas?
taste. Yeah.
Like the actual banana is like a thing that was like killed off a long time ago, and so like what we have now is not technically. Listen, I don't know enough about this to have the
Conspiracy
authority
theories
here.
But I know what you're
Yeah.
talking about. Yeah, yeah.
Oh.
You've seen that.
Maybe
Right.
at one point, that's what they tasted like, huh?
So anyways,
Put a little almond butter on them. They taste like whatever you want.
I'm so drunk. I tried to have a freestyle rap battle with somebody.
How did that go? Will you freestyle
I,
right now?
I think I lost for sure.
Kim, hit a beat.
Pooch, poo, pooch.
Oh, my taint is wet and I have a veterinarian degree. I want to be your partner. I'm Australian.
Okay, well,
Is that?
Well,
That's probably about as how
I don't-
well it went.
think it's gonna win a Grammy anytime soon. Kim's beat will, but your freestyle was awful.
it's hard when you're trying to keep a beat because I want to listen to what he's saying, but I'm like, keep the beat.
I was
Don't screw
surprised
up.
you did it. Honestly, I would have just told me to fuck off.
I don't know what it is about me, but I've been asked to drop beats for random black guys in the streets like multiple times.
It's that forehead.
I don't know what it is, man. One time, my friend and I are taking pictures, like doing street photography around Minneapolis, and this dude comes up and he taps me on the chest. He goes, "Yo, drop a beat," and I'm just like, "Let's get it." And I start, and he just starts ripping my friend apart in a freestyle. I was like, "This." It was Riley Downs.
Well, he's easy.
Hey, now he is easy to rip on, but
That's
it was
interesting.
fucking hilarious. Anyways. Freestyle battle, breakdance battle. I lose both
How do you
of those
remember
things.
any of this? If I would
I
have
was
drank a whole bottle
told
of
later.
99 oh, you were told later.
And then I woke up. I had fallen asleep. I think I just passed out on the floor in a pool of my own vomit.
Of course.
Ew.
Yeah.
And I didn't have any other clothes,
Sure.
so I was driven home.
I bet you were wearing your gangster like khaki pants that you
Yeah,
used to
man.
wear
I had
all
my
the time.
I had my G unit hat
Okay.
that I had stolen from
Sure.
somebody, and
Just real quick, are you from like Becker? Like, are you from this area?
Well, he's a mutt. He was originally from.
that's a funny way of putting it.
You're a mutt.
Because
Yeah.
I am actually
Well, he's lived in Minnesota
19
the
years.
longest,
Okay.
but he's originally from Oregon.
Yeah, like I know how to
Oh,
pronounce
okay.
bag and flag and Oregon.
Okay.
You know, all of the normal non-regional diction things. Because I'm from Oregon and Idaho and New York
In Washington.
and Washington.
DC or the state?
the state.
Dang.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm just trying to understand because, like, I grew up in Monticello, which is like right near here,
Yeah.
and everybody in my school had like G Unit hats and all that stuff, and I'm like,
Really?
why? We're
Why?
farmers, you idiots! Like, there's literally drive your tractor to school day. Why are we?
Did they do that in Monticello?
They did
really?
100%. Yeah. Yeah.
Did they do that here in Becker?
I mean,
I can't. That's just every day. in
Kids,
Becker.
yeah,
Yeah.
drive their snowmobiles to
They
school.
get their farmer's permit.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I grew up in Malacca, so yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Everyone's
you're
driving their
way out
tractors
there.
all the time.
Did you know the Potter boys? Like, did you play sports in high school?
I did, but I didn't want to be. So,
okay.
Oh.
I'm also very old. I graduated in 2003.
Yeah, I graduated in 2005, dude. We're not that far
Oh, I
apart.
thought you were a baby.
I wish.
The Potter. I don't think I knew the Potter boys. But
No, I don't wish you. I wish I was a baby.
Yeah, I was gonna say I was.
Because if you're young, then I'd have to be younger too.
that's
but
how it works.
but
Yeah.
no, that was another thing that, like, when I found out how old you were, because I was like, well, good, because I'm used to being the old guy in the room.
It's true.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Yeah. When we
Um,
always ask, like, how old are you? You're like, whoa, shit.
Mhm.
Like James Stanley, you're like, damn it.
Oh, yeah.
You're like so young.
Mhm.
Good for you.
Mhm. Him and like Tommy Bayer and
Yeah.
all those. Yeah,
Ruth Allen,
All
she's
those,
another
yeah, all
one.
those idiots. Well, even
Frick.
Maddie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's, I don't know, 30.
She's got an old soul though.
Yeah, who knows how old she is for real.
Yeah, but yeah, so that was another, like, point of, like, there's certain things that these other comedians don't understand, like being tired,
Oh, sure. Yeah,
having ibuprofen in your car.
Dude, I have Excedrin, just loose Excedrin in my center console, just mixing with change and dollar bills and receipts because I don't trust my bank. Like, I just pop them right in my mouth too. I don't even. It's so gross. I might as well swallow pennies when I have a headache.
It's
Does that
true.
help? You think that would help?
Probably.
I mean,
do
you
it.
know,
yeah.
do it and it can become a thing.
We'll see.
Yeah.
That's how you get out DUIs, right? Or you put them in your mouth. You just hold
Yeah.
them.
Is that what they do?
I don't know.
I
I
watched
don't know.
someone do that at a party one time, and it did not
Didn't work. No,
Hmm.
they just threw up.
I was at a
pennies.
party that got busted, like, before I started drinking, and I'm waiting in line to get, like, breathalyzed, and I'm like
Waiting in line,
psyched.
by
I'm like,
the
what's up, guys? And so I'm seeing kid after kid just be like, all right, go stand over there.
Yeah.
And
So
like,
many
"Oh my
minors
God."
that night, huh?
Yeah. And but then I get up to the officer and I go, so what do I do? And he looks at me and goes, get out of here.
No, he didn't even let you play.
No,
You're
he was
rude.
like, you're fucking wasting
Dude,
my time.
when I was 18, I think, like, it took me about 6 months, but after I graduated, I moved out of my parents' house and got an apartment with a friend of mine. So I think I was almost 19. And I was dating this girl at the time who was still in high school. She was like a junior or senior. I forget which one. It doesn't matter. But her parents were psychopaths, like absolute crazy people. And they had 4 kids, and they would just openly use drugs in front of all of them. And like,
Oh, fun.
like the one I was dating was the oldest one, and then it ranged from like 17 or 18 to like 8. So
Aw.
like these kids, it was a rough situation.
So she was basically parenting her siblings.
Yeah, her and her younger sister kind of took care of everybody, and their parents were just garbage. And we had like kind of broke. It was one of those things where you break up, but not really, and then you get back, and then you break up over and over again. And so like her parents just assumed we were together, you know, like, and so we had a party one night, and it was getting like rowdy, and it was at my apartment, and I knew it was going to be an issue, so I was staying sober, like just trying to keep track of everything. It was finally like probably close to 2 a.m, and I'm like, all right, things are chilling out, like I'll have a beer, right? And so I chugged a beer, and then and then like not even 5 minutes after I chugged that beer, there's just somebody just railing on my door, like my apartment door, just pounding on it. And I look through the hole, and it's the woman's mom, and she's tweaking out of her mind. And she is not only pounding on my door, but she pounded on every other door in the building until she found mine. So now all my neighbors are like poking their heads out in the hallway.
They're like, who's
and they already hated us. Like we had so many we were 19-year-old idiots who, liked to drink beer, and I mean, we didn't punch any holes in walls to claim it as our own, but we did our fair share of crap. And so she starts screaming at me, and I'm like, let's just go outside, and like we get outside, and she gets in my face and like starts swinging at me. And I did that thing that, like, I swear I thought it was only in movies. I didn't realize it was a real move where you just face push and then hold them at like an arm's distance.
Oh, that's
and her arms
awesome.
are swinging under my arms trying to get me. And so I'm like laughing about that, and then her husband comes out of the car, and he comes at me, and he like swings for real.
Shit.
Yeah.
And I like duck underneath it and like push him back, and then he, for some reason, he restrained from like fighting me, which was probably for the best, because that would have been a nightmare.
Yeah.
Then the cops show up, and everybody in my apartment, and people are like climbing over the balcony, like just pouring
Trying to get out.
running. And of course, I had that one beer 10 minutes ago, so I blow like a 0.2, and then the guy's like, "You're fucking wasted." And I'm like, I'm not even drunk at this point. Like I was talking to them.
Well, because it was fresh on your breath too, so it's gonna make it higher.
Yeah, I was like 19. I was like 19 or whatever, so they were like, "Oh, you've been drinking, you're drunk, you little shit," and all this. And the cops were like surrounding me when I was like being calm and trying to explain to them.
You're like, look at these fucking tweakers
these
right
two
here.
adults, and they let them just drive away just with whatever.
Goodness.
Like they had shit harder than weed in there.
Yeah.
And like there's no way that they should have let them leave, but they were just like, "Yep, we're just gonna let them go." And I'm like, "Go get them." And it was insanely frustrating. But that was I think the second to last party we ever had there. The last one being the one a week later when we got kicked out. So it was bad though, man. I wonder what they're up to these days,
Isn't that always interesting? Like,
You're like, I wonder how many times they've been in jail.
yeah. Ugh.
Because back then her parents looked like they were in their 60s, but they were in their 40s.
Oh my
Like they looked like 20 years older than my parents, who my parents never really drank or anything like that, so they looked pretty young, but yeah,
I apologize. That mic keeps.
I know.
it's
not staying.
push it.
It's because it's loose, right?
Oh yeah. Should we fix it? Do you guys have commercials? Do we want to take a commercial break?
Yeah,
feel
there
better
we
now?
go.
Was it clacking?
Well, because the audio would, like, I could,
It would drift away.
I don't know if you noticed, but I've just been moving the
Yeah,
dial because I liked the story you were telling.
Sure. No, I saw it. I was trying to like lean in and out. I realized I moved a little bit. See, I'm started, like, we have like 8 podcasts recorded under me, and Joe Christensen are doing a thing, and so like I'm trying to get used to talking
What's
into
your
mics
guys'
and
podcast
stuff.
about?
It's called the Joke Quest 200, or I think it's just Joke Quest 200,
Okay.
which was supposed to be Joke Quest 2000, but when Joe pitched that name to me, it was a typo and he forgot the last 0, so then it became Joke Quest 200, which I think is hilarious.
Yeah.
But essentially we have it's me and Joe, and then we have a guest come on, and we each write like 7 to 10 jokes on note cards, like old tweets and shit,
yeah.
Just like small little jokes, and then we throw them in a cookie jar, and we just take turns drawing them out and reading them.
Well, that
And we just
fun,
do that
yeah.
for like an hour.
Dude, I've been dying to, like, I want to do that, like, for an open mic where everybody's first joke has to be one out of a bowl.
Oh, sure. Yeah, they've done that at a couple different spots I've seen, actually, yeah.
Damn it.
Not
I
original.
thought I was being original and shit.
No, well, nothing's original anymore.
Not
but-
anymore.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Because we're in the year 2019.
1984. Now, I'm sure you've talked about this on podcasts before, but being that my wife is a medical professional, I obviously have to bring up, when did you start losing your hair?
I think it was about 5. Stuff just started pouring out of my head. No, I don't know, man. It's been, like my hairline has always been shit.
Yeah.
And then I've just like I had the middle part for a while to like cover up.
Oh.
I've just got really sweaty. I don't know why. It's probably this super
Well, I
loud
mean,
jacket I'm on.
Also,
I'm wearing,
that, yeah, you're wearing a jacket, and you thought I was gonna go one way, and I was like, just kidding.
Yeah, you misdirected me, and man, nothing makes me sweat like misdirection.
No. So, well, I mean, there's a couple of things that I want to talk to you about,
Of course.
and for the easy one, which is the Bell palsy, which I
Bell's
do.
palsy.
I apologize if
I
it's
only have one bell.
Just the one bell.
Yeah.
Ring.
If you've talked about this ad nauseum,
No,
but
I don't care. It's
okay,
funny. Dude.
cool.
It's so funny. Are you kidding
Were
me?
you like when before it happened under a lot of stress or anything like that, or just boom?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I had a coworker and it happened to her too. She thought she was having a stroke as well.
Yeah, I mean, okay, well, I'm an idiot, okay? Like, just to put it right out there, I'm a moron when it comes to medical stuff. I'm like I legit, a year ago, last October, had chest pains, and I'm like, we'll walk it off. And it ended up being like a pulled muscle that was like
okay.
wrapping
I was gonna
around
say,
my
do you
ribs
do
or
the?
something.
Do you pound your chest?
Yeah, like the SNL, like the Chicago people, like, oh, there we go. No,
My brother and I do that. Like, we'll get chest pain, and we'll be like, just pound it back into.
I don't know, man. Like, like I said, I'm a dumbass about it. So I was playing video games, and I haven't actually like told it this in depth in a while. So we'll see how this goes. But I was playing video games, and my mouth started to feel like I ate something spicy. Like it was a weird sensation, and I was like messing with my tongue, like, because it was kind of going numb. And then I was like, oh, something's kind of weird here. Like I felt off. And then I walked into the bathroom and just had palsy face. It was like I
super droop.
super droop.
I don't mean that in a mean way, but it's like
No,
legit. Like your face is melting off on the one side.
It's scary.
Yeah.
And so I
horror
instantly-
movie-ish.
I was like, oh God, what is happening? Am I having a stroke? I better go save my game first. And then,
What game were you playing?
I don't even remember. It was probably it was either NHL or I don't remember. Maddie had bought me Red Dead 2 shortly after we started dating. So it was possibly that.
Something important you needed to say.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So like I literally like went sat back down and played my game for a little bit longer. This is how it really happened. And then I looked it up and I was like, what are the symptoms of stroke? And it was like droop face or super droop. And then and then I was like, oh, okay, well, check. And then the rest of them, it was like, okay, I'm not having that. So I'm like, fuck it, who cares? Like, whatever. And I just went back to playing games. And then Maddie texted me and she's like, what are you up to tonight or whatever? I'm like, well, my face is falling off. And she's like, what the fuck are you talking about, right?
yeah. That's so funny.
And so I'm like, do you, like, could you might come over and, like, just
Assess
tell
the
me, see if this is as bad or as weird as I think it is. Because, like, I couldn't really tell, in the mirror, I was like, yeah, whatever. But I was like, slapping it. I'm like, well, that still hurts. Like, what am I, it was just, and so she comes over and she's like, what in the fuck is wrong with you? She's like, we're going to the hospital. I'm calling an ambulance. And I'm like, no, you don't call an ambulance, right? Like, it's expensive as hell. And so I somehow bargained with her. She like texted her mom and it was like, hey, so this guy I know, his face is like gone numb and he can't control it. And her mom's like, get him to the hospital. And I was just like, all right. I somehow negotiated and said, if it's still bad in the morning, we'll maybe go.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And so we went to bed. I forget what we even did. It was something very mellow.
She probably just stared at your face. The whole time.
Probably. And then, then we went. I had her take me to the hospital the next afternoon at like 3 or 4 in the afternoon. And it was like, I knew I wasn't having a stroke because
Yeah.
like especially like even by the time she got to my house, I was like, it would have been
Your vision's not going weird.
yeah, other shit would
Yeah,
have happened
yeah.
by now. So I was like, I knew it was gonna be like fine or whatever. And then I went to the doctor. She took me to the doctor, to the ER, and the first thing that they said was like, all right, well, you're not having a stroke. And I'm like, cool, because I would have been dead because this was like 14 hours ago or whatever. And then he's like, yeah, you have something called Bell's palsy. And I'm like, cool, what makes it happen? What? He's like, oh, like they really like don't really know. Like it's like there's like a clump of nerves that controls half of your face, and it's like an infection that gets in there, but they don't know where it comes from or anything like that. Yeah. But I think I actually said on Kill Tony that I had like stabbed myself in the eye with like some sunglasses or something, and I thought maybe that could have caused it, but I don't know. That like it was. I only thought of that because it's behind my eye.
Yeah.
And I legitimately stabbed my eye with my sunglasses so hard that I thought I had like cut it, like scratched my cornea and shit. But
could we talk about that for a second? Because I do remember you saying that.
Yeah.
How?
Have you never stabbed yourself in the eye with the sunglasses?
Not that hard.
You wear glasses. How have you not done? Okay, here.
I've done it.
I brought my sunglasses to demonstrate this. I knew we were going to talk about it. But here's the move.
Those are some nice
They are.
sunglasses.
Dude, I do like
I
'em.
straight up didn't pay for them. I'm not going to say that on a recorded thing. So I used to take off my sunglasses and go like this.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
And so like because this is an audio podcast, I would take them off and then use my forehead to like close the little arms or whatever go behind your ears.
Yeah.
And I went to shove it in and I went and it like went in my eye and it was
Fuck.
awful.
Ouch.
Damn.
And then I think that was only like a week or two before the palsy thing happened. So it might be related. Who knows? It might not be. It might just come out of nowhere.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, I mean, goddamn.
And then when they tell you how long it can take, you're like, oh, awesome.
Yeah, they were like, it's usually like 6 to 8 months, which is where I'm at right now. I'm at 6. It looks a lot better than
I was going
it
to say,
did.
even from seeing you at Kill Tony till now.
Yeah, Kill Tony was still pretty bad.
Yeah.
The day that it happened, it was a Tuesday when I went to the hospital. On Wednesday, I had a show in St. Michael at the St. Michael movie theater.
I love that place.
And yeah, they were like trying out comedy to see how it would go.
Yeah,
And
Was it with
Yeah. I know. I'm thinking of the same fucking person.
he opened
God
for
damn it.
Christina Pajitsky.
Brian?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Was it with him?
It was with Brian. Yeah. Brian Miller.
Brian Miller. There we go.
And like him and I worked together a couple of times, but like he's like a headliner, and so I was like, oh, I want to do good for this show because it was like me, Brian Miller, Nate Abshire, and then Tiffany Norton. So 3 legitimately good headliners, and then me. And I'm like, why am I even on this lineup? And then I wake up the day before, my face is falling off. And like,
that was the day before?
That was the day before. And because that show was in St. Michael and I grew up in that area, I had like 10 people that I hadn't seen in like 10 years coming to that show. And I knew they were going to be there. And I'm like, of course. Like, because at the time, my face, like, I couldn't talk well. Like, it was very floppy and like distracting. And so it was a nightmare. But I just went, I went on stage and I just ranted about how it felt. Like I was like, honestly, I was writing jokes before I went to the hospital, like that's how it is.
You got to use it.
And then I just ranted about it, and I actually used a story from another time I went to the hospital and like tied it in to make it sound like it was when I went with Bell's palsy, and like ranted for like I think 7 or 8 minutes up top and just leveled the 14 people who were sitting in that room. And it like everybody came up after and they were like, man, whatever you did with this palsy, like you made all those jokes. That's crazy. Like, and I was just like, I mean, what choice do I have? What am I going to do? Go pout?
People are going to wonder, like, if you're not talking about it, then people are going to be wondering why.
Yeah,
like,
why? And
why,
like,
yeah.
And especially when it was so bad where it was just hanging and like, because it felt so obvious to me, but also people said that it didn't, like they couldn't hear it in my speech, but in my head, it was like floppy.
Yeah.
When you said Bell's palsy on Kill Tony, I go, Chris, I was sitting next to him. I go, oh, huh. And he goes, yeah.
Yeah, it's funny when I say it because I did a show a couple weeks ago where I was like, I don't know if people can tell this side of my face doesn't work very well. And then like that kind of got a little laugh. And I was like, yeah, I have Bell's palsy. And some lady goes, ooh. And like, she like raised the roof. And I was like, why did you just do that for Bell's palsy? She's like, I guessed it. I knew that's what you had. So people get like fired up about it. But
that's so funny. What an asshole.
I mean, you know.
Yeah.
The thing is I don't think there's a thing anybody could say to me that would upset me about it.
What if somebody said...
Whoa, beep that out,
Well,
bleep.
see, the other... yeah, you're making yourself more work now. See, the thing is, like, if people say insulting things to me, I couldn't care less. Like,
for real.
you're either a friend to where I know you don't mean it, or somebody who I
even
don't
know.
give a shit about, you know?
Yeah,
so then I'm just like, whatever, you know? And so when people try to make fun of me for palsy, I'm like, yeah, I don't care. Like, I get mad if it's not a good joke. Like, that's... Like, the only reason I get mad if people say something to make fun of me is if it's not funny. Like,
yeah, like you look like you eat pickled fish sticks, something like that.
Ew.
how would that even work?
You know.
Is that a thing?
I mean,
Pickled fish, I hope not.
like, fish sticks are okay, but...
I know, I don't mind fish sticks.
What are you, gay fish? Okay.
I see. I was trying to figure out how to do it. And
Yeah,
beat me
well,
to it.
you know, I put my foot on monitors. I'm a professional.
It's a solid point. Okay, now, so yeah, you've been through the and that's got to be interesting.
You know, eventually you're gonna be a Bell's palsy survivor.
I hope so. Or, I mean, you know, I've
know.
had a good run either way.
Yeah.
So
We'll see.
I mean, it might stick like that wrestling guy.
Yeah.
Jim, like he has it forever. Like
Yeah.
some lady literally last night told me her grandma had it her entire life. Like,
Really?
from the time the little girl was the woman was born until her grandma died, she had it the whole.
Wow.
her
My
whole life.
coworkers got better. So
I mean,
there's
mine, you know, it's like it's slowly getting better
Yeah.
day to day. But I was watching like the tape from my set last night, and I realized this eye is starting to droop a little bit more than it had.
that might be your age too.
And so, yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's starting to feel like a little dry, like my eye is, and so I'll just like hold it shut. And when I do things like play video games or drive, when I blink, they both don't close.
Oh,
so
interesting.
So like if I'm staring at something for a while without shutting my eyes for a little bit, like the road or video game, then it'll get dried out and kind of hurt a little bit. But
Do you ever question, is that Bell's palsy or is that my 30s? Because I do that a lot too. Like, is it my 30s or?
I don't know. I chalk it up to the palsy. I chalk
Yeah.
just about everything up to
Yeah.
palsy these days.
Yeah.
So
Sure. But yeah, so what I was wondering, so this has been 6 months?
yeah, it was May 8th or 9th or something.
So almost
like
6
that.
months.
So
Yeah, so almost 6 months.
Right around
Is
6
it been weird to have so many medical topics, like, or conversations, like to so often be talking about a condition and like these stories because I'm sure before that you weren't talking about, you know, anything in regards to
Sure,
doctor.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, you know, like I said, I'm a moron when it comes to that stuff, so I don't talk about medical stuff usually. But, like, I don't know, I would say for the first 2 months maybe, people were asking me about it all the time or commenting on it. And now, you know, the people that I see often don't even care anymore. Like...
So mostly it's in like a show setting where you're already prepared for that shit anyways?
Yeah.
Would you say? Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
If people talk to me about it now, it's strangers at shows and
Sure.
stuff.
It's not like you're out in public and some random person walks up like,
No, that actually never happened.
yeah,
Which, you know,
Minnesota nice.
I don't talk to people if I see them looking weird
I don't
in
even
public.
make eye contact with people.
I was
in
going to
public.
say, yeah.
What happened to your face?
I was gonna say, I'm never like, where the fuck'd your leg go?
Yeah, exactly.
Surprised no kids. Kids are because they have no sensors.
Funny enough, I was talking to your lovely daughter when I just got here. That's, I think, the first interaction I've had with a person under 20 in months.
Really?
Like, I'm never around
I
kids.
guess. Yeah.
Like,
You don't have any nieces or nephews?
no, I don't actually. I had to think for a second.
I was gonna
But,
say,
like, even all my like younger cousins and everything are all
like teenage age or
yeah,
older.
like all my little cousins, they're all now graduated and
sure.
in college or whatever. And
yeah.
I think
You know, she didn't come upstairs and say anything about your face, and she would. She's one of those people.
She
that-
would've?
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
So
It's
there you
true.
go. Not in a mean way. She would have been like, oh, like
No, she would have
Yeah.
been, you see that fucking face?
Did you see that weirdo?
no. You know what she said though when you went downstairs? She goes, oh, "I'm glad Dad came inside. I got really nervous. I didn't know what to talk to him about."
You know what's even funnier? Exact same thing in my head. Exact same thing. I was like, oh God, how far away is that garbage can? Get back here. I don't know how to talk to a six. How old is she? 6 years old?
She's 7, but
Seven. I
close
don't know
enough.
how to talk to a
That's
That's
good.
7-year-old. Are you kidding me? She was Wednesday for Halloween. I was like, cool. That's a day of the week. What do I say? I don't know what to say to a 7-year-old.
Or Wednesday Adams, but that's okay.
Yeah.
God
No, I
damn
knew
it.
what she
Oh, but
meant.
you wanted
Yeah.
to see. That's funny.
Yeah. I
That's-
almost.
She would have got it though if you would have said.
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
But yeah, I always think that's interesting when like an affliction happens upon somebody and then that becomes a topic for them, like or like a normalcy when for the majority of their life it wasn't, and then it kind of consumes certain things.
Yeah.
But it sounds like that doesn't really happen.
I mean, I don't know. Like my therapist was like, "You're taking this very well." I'm like, "What
how other
choice?
way
Do,
can
yeah,
you
what choice do
other-
I have? You know,
Yeah.
like I have to still do comedy. Like
Yeah.
I have to just continue on with my life. It's not like I can do anything. And
What would your therapist rather you do? Isolate yourself?
I don't
That's the
know.
opposite of
Like,
what
get
therapists
pissed?
want you to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
exactly? Yeah, I don't know.
Like, you're coping too well. Maybe you shouldn't be in therapy.
the best thing the doctor told me at the ER was like, yeah, there's really nothing we can do. And I'm like, dope. I don't remember to take pills. I don't want to do physical therapy. I don't want to do any of that. He's like, just wait. I'm like, sick. I can do that.
Can you write a prescription
Yeah,
for that?
just sit.
Wait.
Just wait. That's it. I was
You're
pumped.
like, I know how to do that.
Yeah, everybody's like, you could get acupuncture. I'm like, yeah, but also the doctor said I can do nothing. So
Like
Why would I want to put some needles in my face?
like
Might
Michael
try that.
Jordan
Might be
said,
fun. What did he say?
What?
just wait.
I think he said just
Isn't that-
do it.
Oh, is that what he said?
No, that was Nike.
I think he probably said go to bed when he was like talking to his kids or something.
Probably. Yeah, that makes
Or
more
Space
sense.
Jam.
Yeah.
Are we talking about Michael Jordan? I couldn't hear
Yeah,
you.
that's what I said. I said like
You got
Michael
bad
Jordan
ears.
said.
I'll have a McChicken.
Yeah, please. Salt on the side. I have.
you kept going? You didn't feel that die a slow death?
Have you not listened to this podcast?
That's why our marriage
I
is
listen-
still going. Oh.
Because we drag shit out.
I listened to Maddie's because she was like, I talked about you for a little bit towards the end, and so I skipped to the end, and you guys were talking about me, and then I like kept skipping back until you were not talking about me anymore. It was like 3/4 of the whole thing where it was still like kind of being mentioned, and so that's the one I've heard.
That wasn't until like the end of the episode though, like because
I don't remember
I think
it.
you went to the bathroom and I was like, "Do you mind?" I remember because we've had people on before where they don't want the conversation to be overshadowed by who they're dating,
and it's,
which is So initially, like we didn't talk about you at all. And
Well, I feel
then-
like this podcast is overshadowed. It should be about me and not you.
Well,
I thought it
I am gonna go pee.
I was
And
gonna
then
go pee too.
I'll take it from here.
Bladder twins.
I got this.
I'll go pee first.
Get Layla in here. That's her name, right? Layla.
Yeah.
We'll talk about.
Did
Whatever
you see the
she's
video
up to.
of Maddie doing the bridge?
Yeah,
and
I did.
Layla
That was so fun.
Oh yeah. Okay, all right. So I can't actually stop recording because editing wise. Oh, are we taking turns? That makes sense. All right. So what I wanted to say was, how Swedish are you?
None.
None.
No sweet.
What is it?
I'm Finnish.
Ah, that
So,
makes
like,
sense.
I think I'm supposed to be enemies with the Swedes.
I think
at
that
least-
is true, actually.
At least in hockey terms, dude. I hate the Swedes.
Yeah.
I'm always.
That's got to be conflicting, though, being from Minnesota, because Finlanders compared to Swedes, so many Swedes in Minnesota.
Yeah, I just like my mom's side is Finnish, and then my dad's side is Polish. So
that makes so much sense.
yeah, so I have I barely know any Swedish people. I know a ton of Finnish people just
Well, yeah.
from they settled up on the Iron Range where my grandma's
Yeah.
from. So
I have
yeah,
heard
that's
that.
it. So no
You gotta
Swedish.
close the door all the way. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that dog's gonna poke his little head in here.
Also, Brandon is being soups loud. But do you have like direct relatives that are still in Finland?
I have no idea. I doubt it.
You're Finnish?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
Why the blonde hair, huh?
Mm-hmm.
I was gonna say you guys are actually mortal enemies because you're Swedish
And Dutch.
and Dutch.
Mm-hmm.
Swedish and Dutch.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a fancy? Does your mom or dad, whoever was Dutch, have a fancy Dutch name?
No.
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 Nothing
My
cool.
grandma, she still has like relatives that live in Sweden. She would still go visit
sure.
them when she
Yeah.
was
Yeah, so you're pretty sweet, actually. That's pretty sweet.
Yeah, I am pretty Swede. I wish I had the light hair,
Yeah.
but
What color is that? Your real hair color?
no,
Of
I
course
have
not.
like strawberry blondish.
Oh,
Not like super blonde. It's more red and brown.
like my beard instead.
Right.
A little darker than, but yeah, a little darker than your beard. Actually, yeah. My head is your beard.
Okay, well, that is
Yeah.
a sentence I 100% expected to hear today.
Sounds like something that would happen in like a line in the Lord of the Rings that they would take out. Let my head be your beard.
Oh my god, sounded creepy with that weird accent.
Well, I mean, that's how they sound in Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, fun fact, never seen them.
What?
Oh Jesus, I just got kicked off this podcast.
No, it's just interesting. I feel like everyone's seen Lord of the Rings.
No, never saw that. Only seen like the modern Star Wars, and not even all of those.
I haven't seen any of the old Star Wars either.
You're
and I've
so
only
mad right now.
I've
I
only
just
seen
don't know
one
who
of-
you are anymore.
Yeah.
I
I've
thought
never
I
seen
did.
The Matrix before.
See that one? I like The Matrix. I don't
I
know.
tried watching it. I think it's just been too long now that
It might not
CGI is
hold
so
up,
different
sure,
nowadays that you're like, well,
No, like the fantasy thing is just it's not for me. I'm not into
no
it.
Harry Potters.
I do like Harry Potter a little bit. Like I watched the movies and
Yeah.
then I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. And then I read the books because I had nothing else to do. And I mean, it's cool, but
Yeah.
So were you just working at meat packing factories and watching Fast and Furious when you were a kid? Like what? How could you not?
well, I was raised like playing sports, so like I didn't like get into like comic books or anything when I was younger. Like it was kind of just like all sports.
Interesting.
Which
So did you watch sports movies then? Like
yeah. I mean,
Rudy.
we
and
watch
stuff
like like The Sandlot all the time
That's a
and
good
like
movie.
Mighty Duck. Like
Love
Mighty Duck. Like I don't know if I could do it now, but for
I
a
tried.
little while, D2, I can 100% just recite that back to you. Like Mighty Ducks and all that stuff is like kids movie, like.
And it's Minnesotan based.
Yeah, that's true too. That helped a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, a lot of my life was just around sports, and then like when I was a teenager, I like rode BMX with my friends, and so like we never like watched. I never like
You
got
were in a
into
movie, yeah.
fantasy or anything like that. And
You're
then
too cool for it.
back then, yeah, like
yeah.
definitely now, I'm like I'm never gonna make fun of somebody for liking anything, but like back then, I was definitely like, oh, that's nerd shit.
I was gonna say, do you have people now that assume that you're into nerd shit? Like
Sometimes.
we'll start conversations where they're
Sometimes,
like,
yeah.
I feel like Logan would have never ended Wolverine that way. Like shit like that.
Yeah, I mean, like certain comics, like a lot of comics, like superheroes and comic books and
Yeah.
all that stuff. So
Well, Mike Lester is
yeah,
big time nerd.
yeah.
He has
Yeah.
a podcast. What's it called? MAGA or
That's definitely
No.
definitely pro
the fuck
Trump
is it?
podcast is what it is.
fuck no
It's his podcast is called "I Love You, Mana."
Mana.
I think
that's what
it's
it is.
Mana.
That was
Or,
close. Yeah.
But yeah, it's all about Magic: The Gathering.
Oh.
Yeah.
Why do I feel like so many comics play Magic the Gathering?
We're fucking
A
nerds.
lot of people do now. Like I think it's really popular.
Dude, heavy metal people too.
Yeah.
There's a huge.
See, I was in that crowd as well. Like
Oh.
so I liked metal and BMX, and then I had to go to baseball practice. Like that was pretty
Okay.
much my life. And then like I realized in 10th grade I didn't have to play football anymore, and that was sweet because I never liked playing football.
Oh.
But like I just did every year because that's what we did, you know. Like, and then I played baseball till I was like almost 20, and it wasn't terrible.
I feel it's different though. Like
Baseball's
baseball-
lazy. Yeah,
Yeah.
you don't have to do shit in baseball. And I was a pitcher, so I literally did nothing. I could walk to my position and nobody would care. My favorite thing about it was controlling like the pace of the game. Like the game worked at my speed when I was pitching. Like if I wanted it to go fast, I would work really quickly. If I wanted to take 30 minutes between each pitch, I could do that. Like, you know, it was so fun to me to have that control. And now I like to put my foot on monitors and control
You
rooms
like to
like
control
that.
the
So
rooms.
it's
Hell
like
yeah.
it
I
kind of
like
makes
you're,
sense
you're
a little bit.
bit of a
Yeah,
control
absolutely.
freak. Yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah.
A lot of it, actually. Let's be real. Like when you just said that, 14 projects came up in my head that would be easily taken care of if I just asked for help. But
That's
I
like
know
me today. I
Ugh.
was sweeping
with
out
the bikes.
Yeah, with the bikes and I was sweeping out the garage, and my daughter can sweep out all you do is sweep it into the yard.
Yeah.
It's all, and she's like, "Can I help?" And I'm like, I kept looking at because I had to pump up the tire in the snowblower, and I kept looking. Like, do I want to give up this control? And I did, and she did a good job. And then
You redid it, didn't
and then I
you?
redid it.
You,
Yeah, I know.
you little shit.
I know.
Knew it.
She went around the corner. I'm like,
That's so funny.
Yeah, I won't
it's
even.
delegation.
Yeah,
It's hard when you're a
it is
control
hard,
freak.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The shows I've been running, Don't Tell comedy shows, I have people come and help me set them up, and I hate it. I would much rather haul the 50 chairs in and out all by myself and set everything up all by myself.
Yep.
I would much rather do that than be like, hey, Chris, go put the speaker on the stand or whatever. You know, like, I hate
It's that
doing
loss of control.
It's
Yeah.
it's probably mostly control, but then it's also I don't like asking people to
I
do
don't
stuff.
either, yeah. That's the hardest thing about being a nurse too, is we're always like, delegate your tasks. It's like, no, F it. If
Yeah.
I can do it on my own, I'm not saying no one else can do it as good as I can, because maybe someone can do it better than I
Sure.
can.
Sure.
But it's like, if I do it, then I know it's done the way I would do it. That's
Yeah.
how our cleaning the house goes. I don't let anyone else do it because there's a certain way things get cleaned. And if someone tries, I'll go back and re-clean it the way I like it.
You know what's funny is my day job is real estate photography.
oh.
And so when people are trying to sell their house, they will, like, the agent will be like, okay, clean your house and get it ready for pictures, right? And what is actually looks good in pictures and what people think is clean is totally different. And so like when the agent says that, they mean literally nothing. Like
Yeah.
they mean all this shit off the walls, no, like barely curtains even, you
Yeah.
know. And so other people will come in and like I've shot rooms, like this room's pretty tidy, but like I've shot rooms that were like filthy, and I'm just like, what are you thinking?
Who's
Like,
gonna, and like when we were looking at house, like I know, like I'm not gonna buy it. Like
Yeah.
you need it to look nice because
In the-
people
in
want to
the
picture
picture.
their stuff in that room.
Mhm.
I think about that a lot. Like
Yeah.
whenever we decide to sell this, like things we have to do, like less clutter. People can be like, oh,
Get rid of all the shit you
Yep.
possibly can and just ditch it. Put it all in the garage or whatever. Make it look like nobody lives there. And
Well, yeah, like I've taken pictures, like I've done some real estate stuff, but just for family,
Mhm.
and they don't realize how little you want in the room because you want the
The room
person
looked
who's going to
big.
buy it to imagine what they're going to be putting in there.
yeah.
You want them to be like, oh, we could do this, we could fit this in there, and like that whole thing. So,
Why are we talking about this? Nobody
I don't know.
gives a
well,
shit.
I mean, we gotta talk about it a little bit. Now I am gonna go pee because I
Okay.
said that like 20
Sure.
minutes ago,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna commit this time.
Okay.
I'm gonna go and do it.
Good luck.
when you come back, will you open a beer for me?
Oh.
As long as you grab another claw. And then
Are we doing the crickets?
I think that's what we're gonna go with.
Yeah?
I think.
I
so.
mean, there's 6 grams of protein. We're
I
trying to
mean,
get
well-
swole around here.
Fair enough. I feel
And
like
it's crispy and savory. My daughter does want to be a part of it when we decide
Yeah,
to eat this.
get her
she
in.
said, when you guys do the crickets, can I try it? I'm like, well, yeah.
absolutely get her in here because I feel like
you know how much B12's in here? We're going to be so energized. 130% of your... We're going to do the crickets tonight, Layla.
you want to eat crickets.
You gonna try one? All right.
You like crickets?
No, you're scared of crickets. We had one cricket outside. He would like pop. So on the side of our garage, there's that little cracked area, and he'd pop up so loud. He's so loud. You
Oh,
can hear him in
yeah.
the garage. He'd pop out. I'm like, I'm gonna get him this time, and I start getting close, and he'd go down. He did it forever. And
He was
then
just
he must
messing
have
with you.
just died.
I was recently in Chicago. I had a show in Grand Rapids. I had a show in Grand Rapids, Michigan that got canceled, but I had things in Chicago set up for the drive home. And so I just drove to Chicago instead, and I was very sick. And like the show in Grand Rapids is where I was going to make the money to cover this trip.
Oh, crap.
And so I went to Chicago really sick to lose money. And in my Motel 6, there was a cricket in the room. And
so loud.
oh my God, it drove me nuts because all I wanted to do was sleep. And he would
Especially when you're that sick.
It was the worst. It was the absolute worst. And then I caught him. I eventually caught him after like a 6-hour hunt. At the Motel 6, he came out of the wall, and I fucking smashed him. I got it.
dick.
Oh, I got him so good. It felt amazing.
What's the Disney cricket? He's a cricket, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jiminy.
Jiminy cricket. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're
Is he
not
like-
that cute.
No. Is he like in Pinocchio?
Yeah.
Is that where he's from?
Yeah.
Is he supposed to be the moral guy in
Yeah.
Pinocchio?
Those guys are not moral. They're
No,
assholes.
not even close. You opened your own beer.
I know.
Why
I'm
were
just
you?
trying to make Chris look manly.
Oh.
We talked about the bike lifting.
Cut that man bun off then.
I know. Man, but no, actually.
Oh, hey, man.
he's
What's up?
growing his hair long for me. I was like, can you grow your hair long again, please? We're going to do the crickets tonight. Layla wants to be a part of it. She told me that a while ago.
I figured like you guys must have had like a selection and people are just kind of whittling them
Yeah.
down.
I just went and bought these ones at World Market.
Okay.
And I told the kids, go look around for weird snacks because that's what we do. And Landon brought those. And I'm like, well, yeah.
I figured I would pick it because the other two, I mean, that one.
That one looks really weird.
This
that looks
one-
a little scary.
I don't know. I just don't know what's in the middle.
Can I see that actually?
Yeah, the sesame. Is
What
it?
is
Mochi?
that? Japanese style.
Don't leave me to go get the snacks
mochi.
because I'm going to get the weird, really, yeah.
Yuki in love.
What?
I like the
I
little.
saw
logo.
that.
Yuki and love.
I just
Not
like
a
that.
lot
I'm
in
I'm
English.
sure the outside is totally fine, but that middle stuff just looks like ground
this one.
eel.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sorry.
not good. Okay, so I have to do just so I can get a clean break. 3, 2, 1, and then we throw the snacks. Have you seen the snacks?
Are we
scroll
going to do
before?
snacks right now? I'm a little worried.
Mm-mm.
What?
Oh, we're just. Well,
we
here
were
I
just talking about it.
we can go back into the other thing that I wanted to talk to you about, which is here. I'll let you decide real quick. So, when it comes to like the depression aspect of you, which I'm sure sounds weird.
Funniest way to ever say, "Hey, you've got depression." The depression aspect of you. Fuck off
I'm
with your
trying-
lifetime ass bullshit.
I'm trying to like, because I'm looking at it in sections of how we would do this.
Sure. Yeah.
Because we talk mental health because I'm a mental health nurse.
Yeah, well,
Okay.
and but
Sure, fair
there's parallels, there's similarities in. I feel like had I known you in school, like we
Besides
would.
the sports stuff, Chris did not do sports.
I did sports.
No, you didn't. There's no way. She's telling the truth. I
I
could
did
tell.
sports.
What
I know
sport?
Not
she
very
likes-
long.
I did sports until sophomore.
Yeah, I mean,
Oh,
well, see,
okay.
that's
I did
kind of
too.
when, yeah,
I did
everybody
softball
kind
till
of
I was a
falls
senior.
off.
Yeah.
Like,
We're like, weed is a thing. Let's do that instead.
oh man,
No, mine was like I can do summer traveling softball or I can work and make money at the nursing home. And I was like,
Sure.
well, I'm going to work and make money.
See, none of my friends in high school told me how good weed is, and I am furious about it because, like, I didn't try until I was 28, and it's
Good for you. too.
Dude, it's so good. Are you kidding me? Being high is the best. And like,
Could you imagine though being like an adolescent doing it? Well, I mean, I do when I was an adolescent, but you as an adolescent, like, wow.
I think I would have been miserable. Like, because I mean, I was miserable until I was basically until I started comedy anyway.
Okay.
But if I had weed like holding me down, like, because it does, it really like it'll destroy any productivity if you like.
That's true.
And like, I love being high, so I just smoke. Like, if I have weed, I get as high as I possibly can. But it's
You
when
had the wrong group of friends then, because me and my friends would do all kinds of shit when we would get high.
well, no, like all of my friends did it. They just never told me it was fun. Like. Like I was like Dare worked on me, and so I was just like you're all
on the best fishing trip with Dare. Where I'm like, why would you do drugs if you can go fishing?
You can fish? Are you kidding me? But then,
do you remember Target Market?
Yeah,
Dude, I was on Target Market. I got to
Okay.
go when they did their thing up in St. Cloud.
sure,
Like
sure.
they had teenagers stay in a hotel together,
Okay.
which is insane.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah,
all right.
Lots of over and under the pants stuff.
in and around.
But also, like, we were all like, yeah, fuck cigarettes, but also fuck each other. That's-
Sure. Yeah, of course.
Whatever. You didn't do anything like
But
that.
then a year later,
Just call him out.
I did. You know the story.
What story?
Where, okay, the first time a
Were you at the
lady-
Holiday Inn in St. Cloud, that giant
It was
one?
Yeah,
probably-
yeah.
Of course.
Right
was it
off
the
the
one with
river.
the 4 pools?
The Kelly Inn.
Oh, the
yeah, the
Kellyan's
Kelly
over by
Inn
the
down there.
river.
Yeah, I got you.
And
the convention.
this girl, we got
She got a little close and accidentally brushed it.
No,
You're
no,
like,
no.
oh, she touched it.
Over the pants, baby.
she was like, she was like, hey, the other people that are staying in this room with me are out doing something else. Come back with me. And we went into the hotel room, and we're laying down, making out, and then she starts moving her hand down my chest, down my tummy, and then
Nice.
down to the pants, and I'm like, hell yes. And then she goes past the shaft into the balls.
Okay.
Oh,
And is
that's right.
doing
I
the-
remember the story.
Yeah. And is doing ball stuff. And I was so confused that I was like, I whispered, it's up higher. Because I thought maybe it was her first time too. And she goes, I know.
Awesome.
So
Amazing.
she just played with my
Funny.
balls for like 15 minutes.
Hell yeah. And then her roommates came back and they're like, we got cigarettes.
Well, no, the next day,
Did
she
she
was,
wink at you and go,
somebody was like, hey, I heard you have a tiny dick. And I was like, what the, who told you that? And they were like, Sherlonda or whatever her name was.
That's not her name.
It's not.
Not even close.
But it was probably a Jessica. But they were like, Jessica said you have a tiny dick, and I was like, she played with my nuts the
Yeah.
whole time.
She
How
probably
could
played
she
with
know?
your nuts because she felt your dick, and she was like, well. Just kidding.
I wonder if somebody else was like, did you know that boys have 2 dicks and they're
That's
awfully
so
oval?
funny.
That was so weird.
That is so weird.
Anyways, back to smoking
I
weed.
love that story.
Yeah, but yeah, no, the whole Dare thing, and I
Oh,
was
yeah. I was like, how did we get
huge.
there from?
huge
Yeah.
into, like, I was anti-tobacco. I dipped my uncle's cigarettes into melted candle wax one time because I was like, you just stop smoking, dude.
Chris was so and you were anti-sex before marriage, all that stuff.
Yeah.
And
Really?
then something happened to him and he lost his shit.
I found out that there's no God, and I was like, what the hell have I
I
been
found
doing?
out like you can prove it.
I opened up a door, and then there was these guys
That
going,
wasn't true back then. You didn't think
No,
there
no,
was
no.
not, but
I knew that. Well, so the Mormon religion was like a huge proponent of, anti anything
Yeah.
that is
Anything
addictive.
fun.
Wait, were you Mormon?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
not me.
I know. I can tell. So you were raised Mormon.
Yeah, yeah. And
is-
then when I was 15, I was like,
you kind of found out for your own. Yeah.
That's when we met when we were 15.
double middle finger to the.
Holy shit! You guys have met
We
when you were
met
15.
when we were 15.
When did you finally start dating?
19.
Holy! What took
Well,
so long?
18.
Well, she disappeared for a little bit.
And then I thought someone told me that he had a baby with some other girl, which was not true.
Hilarious.
That is hilarious.
That's a good move, though.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that guy sucks.
Yeah.
He's got a different kid.
Yeah. Well, we because I lived so far away, we met
Oh,
at a
sure.
church event, and my best friend went to church with him. She was Mormon.
This is my favorite thing to say. We met at the Special Olympics.
Yeah, we went to a Special Olympics
Nice.
event.
I
yeah.
got second place.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah. But yeah, so then Yeah, we just didn't. We knew each other on MSN Messenger, but we never talked to each other. I think I eventually just deleted them.
See that
You
is
delete
nice.
cold-blooded.
I was like,
Oh shit.
This is nice. You actually know what MSN Messenger is.
Yeah, I didn't use it very much, but I know.
I liked AIM better, way better.
Yeah, of
Oh my
course.
gosh, away
course.
statuses, taking back Sunday lyrics all the time.
Yeah.
But yeah, people.
I think
we
we're
have
all
people,
the same people in here.
Yeah.
We have people on this show who are like, "What's that?"
Well, yeah, you have fucking
AIM?
children
What
on
is
here.
that? Remember when you used to do like a capital letter, small letter, capital letter, small letter?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did that all the
Yeah.
time. Yeah. The squiggly lines and the stars.
What were your names? What were your screen
Oh
names?
my gosh.
Oh yes, you have to go. Wait, no, you go last. Chris, what was yours?
Mine were pretty
What was
tame
yours on
actually.
AIM?
On AIM,
Yeah.
it was Puff Daddy _24.
24. Why 24?
Because there were 23 other people who were.
No, there weren't. You did not go 1 through 24.
Dude, I had.
There's
I,
no.
There's no meaning in his life. It's
I was gonna
true.
say, yeah, no. Legit, 24.
Amazing.
That's the only time that it has any meaning to me is because I'm like, yeah, I had to put 24 behind it.
Okay.
I originally had I love Blink 182 baby.
Baby.
Yeah,
Okay.
at the baby.
Good,
and
good.
then I changed it to then it was a cute punk.
But then
Oh, that's not bad.
I was
Did
gonna
you have
say-
like X's on the ends?
No, it was just
okay.
straight a cute punk.
my
Yeah.
stuff was
That's pretty good.
My
Yeah.
stuff was pretty tame
No
after that because
69s.
CH Duke 87. It's just my
Sure.
first.
Yeah.
Christopher Hugh.
And then the
So
year he was
CH
born.
and then my last name.
What was
Hugh-
yours?
Hugh, hold on. We'll get there.
Yeah,
Hugh is your middle name?
that's
Yeah.
his dad's first name.
Okay. Hugh, I've always felt like Hugh should be short for something. Is it
Oh no.
Hufer.
Hufer? I don't know.
No.
What would it like? Hugh-tifer?
Hugert.
Yeah, maybe, I don't know.
Wouldn't it be
I-
funny if Hugh was short for Gregory?
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
something stupid.
Just like
Maybe-
Dick is short for Richard.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one doesn't make sense. But okay, so my screen, I think I had my first one was it was just biker, like
Okay, so the-
BIKER, and then the numbers were 48720. Just because when my dad was helping me set it up, he was like, "Well, you like bikes, biker," and then it was like, "Here's your autofill."
Oh.
Numbers, and then we just ran with that. And then my next one was Beavis, like Beavis and Butthead,
yeah.
and then those numbers were 96766, I think it was. Again, just random generated
Yeah, what
numbers
the-
for
like,
those.
that one looks
it's
good.
amazing that I still remember them. But then like the one that I still use today is like my PlayStation name and all that stuff. If I have to set up a screen name for something, I still use it. It's the letter K, the letter C, and then the letter F. So KCF. And then I always go 666 because I think it's super funny because people freak out all the time.
Really?
Yeah, all the like, especially back then, I would get
yeah.
messages. People were like, "Why do you love the devil?" You know, and I was
Satanist.
I was just like, no, dude, I'm just put that on there so you do that. Like, I used to have this little display thing that I stole from like a gas station where you can flip the things around and change the price that it displays. And so I made it say 666 and I put it in the back window of my truck, just literally for no reason other than one time a kid like my age came up, pulled up right next to me, was like swerving at me, holding up a picture of Jesus. Like,
No.
Jesus. And like I had it in my truck for years and it was
You're
all
like,
worth
I've
it
been waiting
to
for this moment.
watch that person freak out
What the
at me.
hell?
It was so fun. Like, I don't even care. It wasn't even a devil thing. It wasn't even close to a devil thing. Like,
They're
it was,
numbers.
it's a number. Yeah. And I still
love
use
that.
that to this day. I think my PlayStation name right now, I think, is KCF666 Comedy because I forgot the password when I.
Oh.
Sure.
So I like my 666 was for like PS3, and then I got a PS4, and then
Landon's right now, so our son, he's 10, and he's had PlayStation for a while. And remember when we made a screen name for him? We're like, Landon, what do you want your screen name to be? He's like, Landon Long Nose. And he doesn't even have a big nose or anything. So I wonder as like
Not
a
yet.
teenager.
He doesn't know, but a Duke curse is these giant schnozzes.
oh, that ain't shit.
I know.
You don't
he's
think
such
it
a
is, but
baby.
whenever somebody's like, let's measure. Like if I'm like, no, you don't get it,
Let's
and then
measure. How do you measure noses? You just go right next to
you
each
go,
other, and
you go
whoever
from
hits
here
cheek
out
first.
to here?
I would
I'm
think it
gonna
was
cut this part out, but
oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah, you should probably cut that out.
but
That's not a big no, though.
but
I
we
know, he's so
but it is
dramatic.
it's larger than
My nose.
both of yours.
Well,
Yeah.
sure. Yeah, but look at how
But look
tiny
at-
my
we're-
mouth is, too, dude.
He's from, Finland, so of course he has a little
I'm
nose.
from Finland. I was
yeah,
born
he was born and raised
in Portland, Finland.
and he
That's
was the
a city.
sanest from there.
Yeah.
And-
Wait a second, you were born in Finland?
No.
No.
Damn it!
Oh, damn
I got
it!
to
Why
do
did I
that
say
to
no?
you.
Oh, we could have had him.
I
We,
know.
oh,
Gosh.
So
damn
I'm
it.
furious
excited.
at you right now.
One thing, so before we talk about the depression thing and do the snacks thing, we always ask people how they got into comedy, and I feel like we skipped that.
Oh yeah. I guess I just
I don't do comedy.
Comedy does you.
Ew. That sounds worse, but yeah, that's way more truthful.
like you peg yourself and your butt plug is called comedy.
Like, were you funny in high school? Because you probably weren't, let's be honest. If you were a biker.
I wasn't funny like in school. I wasn't funny because I hated school. I didn't want to.
Okay.
I didn't want to
Wanna
be
be
there, so I just did what I could to get over it and get through it. I did make like when I was in high school. Well, you guys are the same age. Jackass was huge.
Huge.
Did you ever see CKY?
Dude, I loved CK. Like CKY was like my Bible. Like
Fuck yeah.
I used to watch those, and we like all my friends were skaters and bikers and stuff, so we made videos like CKY. And like my senior year, we had a premiere for like the video we made, and we had it at like the Monticello
Really?
Community Center. We had like a projector, and like 120, 130 people showed up or something. We had this like big thing, and it felt so good to make the whole room of people laugh with like something I put together, but I didn't want to be on stage. Like I still, well, I mean, I'm over it now, but like I hated being on stage for the
But
longest
having people
time.
laugh at you gave you this.
Dude,
Yeah.
I didn't even think about this real quick. Were you biking when they had the BMX course at the
I
Monticello
was going to
Community
ask you
Center?
that.
Yeah,
Okay.
100%.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Were you ever there?
Yes, I was just gonna say I was
Chris
so
was
like
he was a rollerblader.
Oh, okay.
Rollerblading.
Okay.
I was gonna
Because like,
say we probably crossed paths. Like, did you know any of the McAlpine brothers?
what's his name? Clint
Yeah,
or
that's
or
Ted's
yeah,
older
yeah.
brother.
Ted's older
Ted.
Yes,
Yes,
Ted.
Teddy.
Yeah.
Ted's one of Chris's good friends.
Clint McAlpin.
Clint. I think Clint.
This is not. I mean, this is boring as hell for the podcast,
Yeah,
but
Okay,
That's so funny.
I might end up cutting like a lot of this out, but I
yeah,
have to
that
for-
whole last chunk was.
But the nerd
for nobody
in me,
but us.
So do you remember when there used to be, they call it the Mississippi Rail, where by the bridge there was this rail that went down. So there's Walgreens.
like the sledding hill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's Walgreens, and then there was a metal rail that went down the whole thing.
mhm.
And Teddy and his brothers were the first ones to
To
do the
go
whole
all the way
rail.
down. Yeah. That's sick. That's so funny.
Yeah.
The video I made was called. They were called Yuck Fu, like
Love it.
taking fuck you and switching the two things. And
The one
so
that you filmed or you
Yeah.
premiered at the.
we made like two of them, I think, and like the second one was like big, like people cared, and like
Wow.
we passed out flyers at school for the premiere and everything, and like the principal got one and called my mom because on the flyer it said like it's explicit language or whatever, and so the principal called my mom and was like, why is your child handing out stuff that's inappropriate for children? And then my mom was all worked up and pissed off, and I'm just like, just chill the fuck out, like, but it was like a big deal. Like, I mean, well, not really.
this
but
is
when you're that
crazy.
age,
Yeah.
it is a big deal.
Because
Like-
I was the filmer, I was the photographer.
was the
like
filmer.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
made a skate video, like a couple skate videos, like
Had
that.
premieres.
That's what I was like.
This
I
may
just-
be off the.
I
the
knew-
podcast.
I know we should just talk about this after we're done, but
But I just want to end that aspect of it with like, there was something about you that like I saw parallels in kind of the way that we
Sure.
look at things,
yeah,
which is to say, you don't just want to have a good show. You don't just want to have, a successful whatever. Like, there are people that you respect and want other people to understand how good they are at whatever the thing is,
sure,
right?
yeah.
So
yeah,
like
yeah.
for biking, like knowing that a good angle will attribute to making that trick look better on
cooler.
screen.
Yeah.
So like when it comes to comedy, like when you tackle shows, you know the lineup to make sure that it
there's flow. And
well, and that it highlights why that person should be
sure.
here.
Yeah.
And I noticed that about you really quick.
The funny thing is, one of the harder transitions after starting comedy was I've always been the one to push the people more talented than myself, like promote them or whatever. Like I did the biking stuff, and I realized I can't do bike tricks. I'm bad at it, and so my friends are really good, so I'll make them look good with these videos. And then like after they all moved, they went out to what is it, Greenville, North Carolina. They lived with like Mira and all that shit.
Yeah, I was gonna say, dude,
who actually killed himself. Like, do you guys know that?
Yeah. I'm very familiar.
Yeah, he was like,
dude, when Mira did
depressed.
that series for ESPN where like him and Ryan. I can't. You know what I'm talking about though. It was Dave Mira and Ryan something, and they were just monsters. But yeah, they turned it into like a series where ESPN would highlight them going to different cities and.
Yeah, all my friends, they all moved away, and so like, then I like managed some friends of mine who were in a band. Like a lot of my life was spent like promoting and pushing other people. So then when I started doing stand up, I was like, well, I already know how to do this. I don't like doing it for myself. And like I said at the beginning, like I still get uncomfortable when people are like, hey, I saw you here or there. And so like it's still weird for me. Like even behind the scenes with the band and with filming and all that stuff, people knew who I was, and I was like, but now it's just straight up me, and I'm like, oh God.
There's no one before, it's you. Yeah,
which is also nice because I have all the control.
I mean,
so it kind of started back then when you were getting people laughing, and then when did
that's what
okay,
hold on, let's take a little break. Nice work, by the way. Yeah, so I started comedy we just cut out an hour. Like I think, I always did like making people laugh, but I never really liked being the center of attention.
Okay.
So it's kind of interesting that I am now. But then what really truthfully made me start stand up is I was living out in Denver. I just moved out there on a whim in like 2013. I was living with some friends of mine in Monticello, working at my dad's metal shop, and I was just like, I hate everything. And so I was like, you know what? I went to Denver on a whim for, I think, one of my brother's football games or something. And then I was like, I could live out here. And it was like,
wait a second. Did you say for one of your brother's football games?
Yeah.
Did your brother go to college?
My brother played Division II football at Duluth.
Okay.
At UMD. And so like they were really good. Like the team he was on for like the 5 years he was in college or whatever, like they were really good. They won like 2 of like the national national championships
so that's
and
when
shit.
You went out to Denver
So yeah, we went out to Colorado and watched him play, and I was like, this place is nice, like I could move out here. And then like driving home, I was like, I could, like, I'm an adult, I have money, cause like my dad's metal job, I hated that job, but it paid. Yeah. And so I was just sitting on like, I think I had like 8 or 9 grand just fucking around in my checking account. And I'm like fucking, like, I'll move to Denver. So I moved out there for literally no reason. It took me, I think, 6 weeks to find an apartment. I'd found a job within like 2 or 3 weeks.
Wow.
It didn't pay very well, but then I found an apartment, and by the time I got like settled in and bought furniture and all that stuff you need, I was out of money. And it went very fast. Living in hotels is expensive.
Yeah. Oh shit! I didn't know you were living in hotels. Goddamn.
Yeah, so I was in hotels for like 6 weeks, and it burned.
So you went out there not knowing anyone out there?
I knew somebody up in Longmont, which I don't know if you know Colorado. It's like an hour north of Denver. Okay. And I mean, when I went out there, I literally didn't even have gas money to go visit or hang out with them. So it was, I was very, very lonely. I lived out there for, I think, 2.5 years, and it was it was really, really rough. It was like worse than paycheck to paycheck. You know, it was like skipping meals 3-4 days in a row until I got paid and this and that. And it was pretty bad. Actually, that was when I first got hospitalized for depression out there. It was, it was not my choice. Which is also funny. It was on daylight savings weekend, so my 72-hour hold was a 73-hour hold, and it was just like, come on. But I finally, some friends of mine and I were going up into the mountains to go camping in Colorado, and we're driving up, and my car just blows up, like steam just pouring out of the hood, and I'm like, well, this is the end. Like, I'm out of money. I don't have any money to do this. I have to call my parents. And like, so after all that, it took about 3 weeks for everything to kind of get settled in and like, you know, sell the car for scrap and quit my job and all that stuff. And my parents came out and moved me home, and I just was miserable. It was like, well, fuck, I failed at everything. Like, I can't be an adult. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm about to be 30 years old and I'm moving home to live with my parents. You know, like, it was bad. And I had been writing things that I now realize were intended to be stand-up jokes. I was just writing funny things down in my phone or wherever. And then one day I was back working in my dad's shop. I was listening to a morning radio show in Minneapolis, and one of their interns was like, I'm going to go try comedy. And I was like,
was that Jason Schomer?
No. No. It was, I don't even know who it was actually, but it just like clicked in my brain. I was like, oh, you can just like do it. Like, you just go somewhere
and then just try it
and do it. Because he was like, yeah, I'm gonna go down to Acme. He's like, yeah, you just sign up on a list, and if it's your first time, they'll put you up. And it just like in my brain, it was like,
I need to do this.
Yeah, you fucking idiot. You can just go do it. Like, how do you think it happened? Nobody's gonna just call you for no reason and like draft
no
you.
one's gonna know that you have all these jokes in your phone.
Exactly. So
I've been listening to you talk to yourself in the bathroom, and I thought,
exactly. Like, how are you gonna get like? And so I was just like, I had those jokes a little bit. I was thinking it over for a couple weeks in my head. I was on Reddit a lot. Like, the stand-up subreddit was like,
oh yeah,
it's garbage now, knowing what I know now. But like, I was in there, and people were like, yeah, for your first mic, try to do this and this. And I read articles, I watched videos on what jokes are, you know, like I wanted to go in and understand what jokes were before I just started talking. And so I watched, like, Ralphie May had a really good, like, hour-long thing about how to start stand-up comedy, like an hour-long video. And I wrote jokes. It was like, I have the video. If you go back and watch it, my 3 minutes at Acme it's very set up, punchline, tag.
Oh, okay.
Every joke is boom, boom, boom. There's not much fat on it. I mean, there was a little because I was brand new, but it went really, really well. Like, I ended on like almost an applause break. Like, if I would have let them clap, it would have been an applause break. Like, it went well. And then as soon as I was like leaving stage, I was like, I'm doing this forever. Like, I wasn't even off stage yet, and I was like, all right, well, this is ridiculous. And like, I walked out. It's so dumb, but I like just quietly left stage, like walked to the back of the room, went outside, like up the stairs, around the corner of the building, and then just went, fuck, like screamed, like I had everything inside, just like adrenaline, all that shit, and it just screamed it out, like behind Acme, and then just walked in and was like
hey,
cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it seriously was like a life-defining moment, because it was unbelievable, and I never thought I would want to be on stage, and now,
especially always being the guy kind of behind the scenes. Yeah.
Well, I think that makes so much sense, because when a big difference when you got pulled for Kill Tony the way that they talked to you was way different. It was almost kind of like Tony was like, you know all this stuff.
That was also kind of crazy. It like blew my mind.
It was like, it's like how they talk to the person, like the comedian that they bring on with them to watch people. That's how they talk to you. Is like you're just.
It's funny you guys say that because I've actually never went back to watch or listen to it or anything.
Well,
I suppose when you're in the moment and you're the person there, you don't know. Yeah,
it's never gonna be as good. That's the other thing is like those. I think I just did a couple of palsy jokes. Like what I did there, it felt electric, and I like my own experience from going back and listening to like all my sets that I record, either video or audio. Like whenever I have a really good set, I'm always like, fuck yeah, that was great. And then I listen to the recording and I'm like, oh, there's like 3 seconds of silence there. You fucking suck. Like, so like, I don't want to ruin cool things like that with my dumb idiot brain.
We'll just keep talking you up.
Well, that's so like, I mean, so if you think about the jokes that like in that quick of time, right? 60 seconds is nothing.
I'm so pissed I forgot the best one, too. Like, I didn't even say my favorite palsy joke on that. And I had time, but I didn't. But, I mean, it still went really well.
I was going to say, so you just,
and the thing is, too, you're called up and you're like, holy shit. Out of all these people in the room, I got called up.
Here's the thing about that is I had never seen the podcast. I had no idea.
How did you even hear about it?
I had no idea what it was about. I have a really, really good friend of mine who it loves comedy. She's a huge comedy fan.
So big Kill Tony fan.
And a big Kill Tony. Like, she loves Segura. She loves Burr. She loves all those. Like,
so come to the show with me.
Yeah, she was like, I forget. She had an extra ticket for some reason. Her personal life isn't important for this, but.
It's not that.
No. No.
You know what I'm talking about?
Okay. That's for off the air. I will talk about that off the air. My friend's name is Amanda. She's just fantastic. Truly one of like my best friends to this day. And she just messages me one day. She's like, hey, if you're free on this Sunday, come to this podcast. And I'm like, all right, whatever. It sounds like fun. And we're in line and she's like, oh, you got to put your name in the bucket. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, what?
That's nuts.
And she's like, yeah, like they draw your name. I'm like, what? And I thought it was just a podcast where they would just talk and then like at the end of the show maybe they draw a name out to come up.
Oh.
And then they start and they're just like, all right, our first thing. I'm like, oh, this is like the whole time.
So in your head, so you hadn't practiced 60 seconds, anything like that.
I mean, I'm always like I'm ready.
No, yeah, but now you're like, oh shit, now I gotta come up with 60 seconds.
But as soon as I realized that they were calling up multiple people, this thing went off in my head. I was like, you're getting called. I knew it. I wasn't remotely surprised when my name got called, and I have no idea why. I was just like, it was like I was on a list, and I was like, okay, I'm 2 after Ryan or whatever. Like, It was like, I don't know how to describe it. It was the craziest thing. I was just like, yeah, there's 400 people in here. Of course, I'm going to be one of the 10. Yeah, duh, obviously. And it just worked. And I wasn't remotely nervous when they called my name. I was just like, yep. It sounds good. And then it was a blast, dude. Talking to those guys was so fun. And I still use one of the tags that they said about my palsy. I forget. I don't know their names at all. But
Tony Hinchcliffe and Brian Redband.
The guy who was sitting right next to me, he said I look like if Jim Gaffigan asked for sugar water in Men in Black. I use that in my act now, and it's so funny. Like, it hits every time. It's so good.
Something that I noticed early on in the show was Hinchcliffe would notice that the comedians don't applaud for anybody.
Okay.
And their last regular, they have a new regular now, but the last regular, William Montgomery.
They have a new one? William's not on there anymore?
He is, but like David Lucas is the brand new the regular who does who gets a minute every week.
Oh, okay. Nice.
So they get to go on no matter what. And but so Tony Hinchcliffe would say this thing where he's like, oh, a pop from the comics. And until I had been there, I was like, what the fuck does that mean? I don't know.
Yeah.
And then you see, there's, 50 to 60 comics just sitting hoping to be able to get on stage.
Yeah.
And all of them were just fucking like begrudgingly like, people are going there for the novelty of things. And you're like, why the fuck did you sign up? And I didn't get it until they were in Minneapolis, and I was like, there's a bunch of fucking assholes
Yeah.
on stage, and
Yeah.
and you're bitter, but at the same time, it's like the show format is not. We want every single person to be a comic that comes up on stage. Like,
Honestly, it's a great spot for like a lot of those people. They had never done it before, and like they probably won't do it again. But for that to be your only time, like that's not bad. Like that's pretty cool.
I think it was you, Ryan, and one other person that were the only ones that had ever.
Yeah,
because I think somebody else said that they had tried an open mic before.
Yeah,
but you guys were for sure the only actual comics.
Yeah,
and then
I didn't
just
sign
a bunch
up.
of newbies.
I should have, because I came up with 60 seconds as I was listening to other people's 60 seconds. Like, oh, maybe I.
Do you laugh when you hear people say that when they're like, "I heard"?
I love it. I love it. It's so fun. Because
my dad thought, because he went to one of my shows and he was like, I have a bit, and I was listening to it and I wasn't laughing where he thought that I would laugh.
Sure, yeah.
And you know when you watch people do that whole thing, and I was like,
see,
are you saying that my 60 seconds isn't funny? Is that
no, it's just funny when you hear people who don't go on stage say, "I've got."
No, I would not. I can't go on stage. I can't.
And see, like, I do enjoy that. I always get a little smirk, but it's never in a bad way.
No.
And like you know this, but
it's
like,
because you should be excited. You're like, yeah, be excited.
Honestly, it's fucking fun, dude. It's so fun. Even bombing is fun to me now.
Yeah.
I just had man. I don't know. We've been doing this for like 3 days, but are both of these for me, by the way?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. We only get Fiji water for our guests.
Oh my
we're
God!
So
Wow.
From the springs of
it's unreal.
Hey,
of Fiji.
we care about you.
Earth's finest water. We
I
care
have
about your glow.
I have a.
It's all about the glow now. I'm sure your girlfriend knows that working in cosmetology. It's all about the glow.
I got a shiny head, dude. It's so oily.
You don't need to contour. You got so much shine
Yeah.
already.
I can feel how greasy I am right now. It's disgusting.
Fine. You're not the greasiest person that's been in this room, so don't feel bad.
Did you see Andy Keenan was on here?
He's a greasy fella. So I have 2 stories. If you guys want to hear one or both of them about
You do whatever you want.
the worst shows I've ever done, and one of them was a couple of years ago, and one of them was like 2 weeks ago.
Yes.
And they were okay.
Which one hurts a little bit to tell?
Neither. They're
then-
fun because both of them were so bad that in the moment I was like, "Oh, this is gonna be great tomorrow." Like it was. They were okay.
Is it a little weird that this princess drinks White Claws over here?
No, I mean
He
you know
cares about his caloric intake.
What the?
that's how many calories are in there?
100. That's it.
Oh shit, that's kind of a lot, dude. Are you gonna be okay?
How dare you,
You're about to have your 300th calorie.
bro? Come on, you know me. I'm powerlifting in the morning, 6 a.m.
You are not. She put the bikes up. Don't tell me you power lift.
You got me.
Okay, so
But also, what's your caloric intake?
Dude,
like, do you have
I'm the
a
worst,
CPAP that's just filled with McDonald's grease?
dude.
No,
It's
it's the
not
ramen.
that far off. Honestly, because I've been poor, like dollar menu is like
I think about that all the time.
it's okay. I realize it's probably cheaper if you buy ingredients and cook stuff from scratch.
I
Like it probably is, but
time wise though.
when
I
you
was
come
gonna
home
say-
from open mic 6 nights a week at 1 a.m, you don't want to cook. You don't want to
Yeah.
cut stuff. You want to go to Taco Bell and eat 3 burritos
I was
and
just gonna
pass
say Taco
out.
Bell. They have the cheapest freaking
Yeah.
breakfasts too.
Sure.
Like the burrito,
Yeah.
their burritos are much larger than McDonald's breakfast burritos.
Yeah.
And 99 cents for
Yeah.
a giant breakfast burrito.
Well, there are studies that show, like, at least in America, like our I don't even know what you would call it, but like the amount of stuff that goes expired or what
Yeah.
we consider
Yeah.
expired. People go, oh well, fuck, I wasted money on that. Like you buy things with plans to do better,
Yeah.
and then all that shit just goes to waste.
If I grocery shop, if I buy like a week's worth of groceries, I use that stuff that day, and then the rest of it
It
pretty
goes
much
bad.
gets thrown out.
Yeah.
yeah.
It sucks. I can't imagine doing it with like a family.
So
like,
that's why they've shown that like people who do dollar menu stuff, you know what your budget is, you know
Yeah.
what you're spending, and you don't, the people who are wasting that food don't realize the dollars that they're throwing away.
Yeah.
And so a lot of times the people who budget their dollar menu lifestyle actually end up doing better.
Yeah.
But because you have disposable income like assholes like us,
Well,
we don't realize that we're just fucking dumping money away.
When I put all the I bring that fruit to work and eat it. And then it goes
You're
bad.
saying we haven't discovered multiple.
We were so poor one time we scrapped down together a bunch of change just to buy a loaf of bread.
Yeah, dude. I've been there.
We're like digging the change out of our car.
Mm-hmm.
Remember that?
Yeah. But that's such a funny, when you bring that up, nobody realizes the backstory is we got wasted at a party.
Stop
and then
it.
the next day. So we chose alcohol over.
Hey.
Chris!
Hey.
No!
Listen. I chose weed over food many times.
That's the thing.
When I was in Denver, it was $35 for an eighth, and it was, dude, I would buy that before I would get paid and go to the dispensary.
Yeah.
That's the funny thing about it,
You're
is
who
that we're
needs
like,
food this week?
people will
Exactly.
we'll
But then
we'll
you're
do
high
these.
as shit and you're like, I need that
I
food
need
now.
that munch. Yeah.
We'll do these stories of penny pinching and stuff like that, but people don't understand that we were just dumping money into dumb shit.
Oh, yeah.
And then so it was brought on by ourselves.
Of course. Yeah, I'm not trying to say by any means I was like, oh, I'm so poor. I'm a dipshit about money, for sure. I'm really bad at, honestly, being an
if
adult.
you're spending money on dumb shit and not important shit, you're still penny pinching.
Yeah, dude, I put on, I'm pretty pissed at myself. I put on, 20 pounds over the summer, in the last 6 months or so.
Yeah.
But honestly, I used to run a lot. I still try to now, but I don't know. Whatever happens, you know how it is.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you're 34. Can you still run when it gets this cold out?
I prefer it. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Why is that?
I don't like being hot.
Well, yeah, but I mean, it doesn't hurt your joints more to be running out in the cold, stuff like that.
I mean, everything already hurts.
Nice. I like that.
It's true.
That's a good mantra for people getting older. Everything already hurts.
It literally does. I wake up and I feel like I've been hit by a truck about 90% of the days I wake up. But I just said how I've gained 20 pounds over the last 6 to 8 months or so, and it's because I stopped being active. But while I was active, I used to run all the time, 3-4 times a week. If I ate Taco Bell, I would still be losing weight because,
Well, you're shitting everything out if you're eating Taco Bell.
well, I mean, I would just eat a bean burrito, and there's really nothing in beans and cheese and so, it's probably a lot of sodium and some carbs, but other than that, it's really not. It's not as bad as fries and a fucking burger or greasy shit like that.
Yeah.
But
oh, damn, fries sound good when you talk about it. Sorry.
oh, I'm so sorry. But then I stopped being active and everything just started catching up with me, and now I'm just pissed about where I'm at right now.
And the thing is that even then when you start working out, it's it takes even twice as long. You're like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
I just ate a salad for the last 2 weeks
Yeah, right.
for every meal, and I ran 18 miles and nothing fucking happened.
I have noticed my face is less bloated because I have for the last 2 weeks. Every lunch I eat a salad instead of. I don't know why I thought this was healthy, but I was ordering Jimmy John's, and then I would stuff barbecue chips into my sandwich with the Kick and Ranch.
Crunch.
Yeah,
I mean, that's good.
but it's not
It's unhealthy.
Exactly.
But it's good.
It's delicious, but it was not. I think because the mantra of fresh, ready, that whole thing makes you think that you're eating something better.
I think it's hard.
Was not.
Chris, for so long, his metabolism's been so high, and he could eat
And,
legitimately
on top
eat
of that,
anything he wanted, and he was so skinny and ripped.
But
and
I
then
was
he
also
got-
skating like crazy.
Yeah,
Skating,
that's true.
snowboarding.
And then he had his
Yeah.
back injury, and he got put on meds. And I
Yeah.
think with the meds, it changed his appetite and the things he wanted to eat. Because before he'd eat super healthy all the time. He'd just sit in here and snack on celery and carrots all day.
Sure.
And then I think him being on certain medications for his back and depression and all that changed the way he ate, and then slowed his metabolism down. And then you hit your 30s, and then
Yeah, we've definitely got to have you on again because there's way more that we have in common.
Oh, yeah.
As far as the shit that we've been through.
Chris doesn't eat Taco Bell though.
I went
It's
10 years without any fast food.
Wow.
And then I fell off the wagon.
And once it's like crack.
And
Once you have that.
It like I don't even know if I could do that again, honestly. But I went 10 years without fast food. I don't drink soda. Like I worked at the bowling alley in Monticello in high school, and I got free soda, and I was just like the whole time. And then I was like, one day I was just like, I feel like shit every time I drink soda now, and so I just quit. And the only time I have it now is with like whiskey or whatever.
Sure.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
I was gonna say.
Like as a
yeah.
mixed drink.
But
okay.
even I don't even drink that much. So like
Yeah.
I have like maybe 5 drinks a year.
Wow.
And so I very rarely drink anything but water. Like when you said today, what do you like to drink? Well, I mean, you don't even have to get this fancy. I'll just.
Oh, but don't, dude. Fiji's the fucking best.
Chris loves Fiji. So does our son. Fancy asses.
Oh no, you got a child to
I know.
like
He's
Fiji.
like, Mom, look at the Fiji water. I'm like, you're
Well,
getting
dude,
a 99-cent water.
Once we
bitch.
listen to on real quick, Fiji water and like it's different,
No,
per
every
state.
time I hear about water and water bottles, I think of Andy Matfield and how he's allergic to specific water bottle, like waters from water bottles.
What a loser! God.
That was on like.
By the way, November 15th, the roast of Andy Matfield.
Speaking of Andy
Oh, yeah.
Matfield,
It's going to be
roasted.
at Nordic Brewing Co. Show starts at 7:30. We're going to be
Are you gonna bring
shitting
these
on each
roasted,
other.
Crickets.
Crickets
We should
too?
bring some roasted treats, but actually, there's going to be a food truck
That's
there.
really funny. You should bring roasted peanuts and
I'm just going to throw roasted nuts at him.
The whole time.
there is gonna be a food truck
Until
there,
he
though.
freaks
a
the
barbecue
fuck
food truck.
out.
Yeah, from Princeton.
God, that's so
The
funny.
Firehouse Barbecue.
Oh,
Dude,
Yeah.
Firehouse
Gosh,
is
I'm
so
gonna call him
good.
sick.
By the way, if you're not doing anything, November 15th.
I just set up a don't tell that day, actually.
Man, we're going to be shitting
And that
on each
is
other.
roasting
It's going to
him.
be awesome.
Okay,
Um,
sorry.
But anyways,
Let's talk
yeah.
about these 2 stories.
Well,
Yeah. Okay, yeah. Let's try to.
Wow, we haven't even told the 2 stories yet.
No.
No.
And we've been here for 2 hours, dude.
Can I pee real
I mean,
quick?
I've been
Sure,
here for 10 years.
Oh, don't
this
you
house.
dare play that with me.
No
Okay,
joke.
so here we go. We're ready for these stories?
Yeah.
Yes.
Which one are you gonna tell? The one that just happened, or one further away is?
You guys choose.
No, you. Let's go back day now.
Okay, we'll
present.
go back. Okay, so the first really, really bad show I had was I was with this comic named Dan Mogul. He brought me out to a resort in Brainerd for their Christmas party. Okay,
Yeah.
for the people who worked at the resort because it was closed for the winter.
Okay.
It's a summer resort. It was closed for the winter. All the people who work there were having their Christmas party, right? These people had seen Dan do a bar show nearby, and just for reference, Dan has a joke where he says the word fuck about 30 times. like it's his punchline. He's like, when you're driving, somebody cuts you off and you're just like, fuck. Like that's the whole like
Okay.
he
Yeah.
he says it over and over and over and over. So they saw him do this, they liked what he did, and they booked him for their company corporate party. And we get there, and it's a really nice room. It's like this huge, expensive, fancy resort, but big buffet and all that stuff. And we get there, and Dan's like, all right, is there any content restrictions or anything? Is it like anything we shouldn't talk about? And the guy's like, nope, let her rip. Do whatever you want. We can handle it. And he's like, okay, are you sure? Because if
Yeah.
you say, like, it's not that we're like overly dirty or anything, but like, if you're sure, then we'll do our normal act and it'll be fine. Otherwise, we can tone it down a little bit.
Yeah.
This is always a bad sign. If you ever have to do like a corporate style show and they make you sit and eat with everybody, it's a terrible sign because it's weird. It's awkward. And it also, if you talk to them, it makes it so you're not a performer anymore. You're just a dude. Because once they talk to you and they realize, oh, it's just a person. Like, it's just a normal person just like me and you. Then it doesn't matter if you're on stage because they're like, oh, yeah, but he was just talking about having a flat tire or whatever, you know?
Yep.
And for whatever reason, Dan, when he realized we had to sit with everybody, he's like, oh, let's fuck with these guys. And I'm like, what? Why? You know? And he's like, okay, just follow my lead on this, right? And so we had to sit down in a circle table with 8 other people, me and Dan, and then we sit down, and the people at the table weren't even talking, right? Like, it was awkward.
Weird.
It was like it was like a couple here, and they were like kind of softly talking to themselves, and then like these 4 over here kind of knew each other, so they were softly. It was like a wedding when you just kind of sit down at a table.
Yep.
And so Dan sits down, and he's like, yeah. He's like cutting his fucking prime rib like an animal, just like. And he goes, yeah, we work in the boiler room. And he's trying to play it off like we're just employees.
God, that's good.
And it's not good because they all just looked at him like, we don't
have a
boiler room.
I was gonna say
we
that's the
know
first thing
who
I
you
thought.
are. Like, and so Dan's like, everybody like hates Dan. Like they don't even want to talk to him. And he's like, come on, man. And I'm like,
I'm
not,
the janitor.
I'm not in on this, man. I'm just like, no, I'm good. And I was a little high. So I was also not very social at that point. And so I just wanted to eat the food, which was delicious, by the way. So we ate the food, and then we start the show. It was in this room, like this big open banquet room. And it was their Christmas party. It wasn't a costume party. But
was it like an employee appreciation?
yeah, that's exactly what it was.
Okay.
The HR woman was dressed as an elf, okay? And, like, nobody else in costume. Everybody else just looked normal, except for this tiny little woman who is an elf, right? And so she sits up front, and I start doing my stuff, and I'm like, no restrictions. This is going to be easy. No big deal. And so I said, like, they weren't really into me at first. It was just weird and kind of awkward. Everybody was really tight. And I'm like, oh, it'll just take a little while. So I started riffing about the room. And I was like, oh, there's, like, look at these, like, chandeliers. This is kind of sexy in here, right? And the HR elf goes, and I'm like, I said the word sexy, and she gasped. And I'm like, oh, God, this is not going to go well, right? And so I started telling a story about a strip club, which I still kind of do to this day. But honestly, that story is PG-13 at worst. Like, I don't swear. I don't get graphic. I say boobies. Like
boobies.
Like, that's how I reference everything. And so I get a little bit into that story. I say boobs, and Dan is in the back, and he waves his light at me. And I'm like, I see him, and at this point, I've done like 4 minutes just dead, just dying. Nobody wants me there anymore. And he waves the light, and I'm like, okay, well, I guess he asked me to do 20, by the way. And so I'm like 4 minutes, and he lights me, and I'm like, well, I guess I'll tell you guys one more thing, and then we'll get your headliner up here. And he goes, no. He's like waving the light like extra like crazy. And so I just look at him and I go, oh, you want me to be done now? And he goes, yep, you're done. And at this, in my head, I'm like, oh, God, I just fucked this up for him. Because, like, it's a corporate thing, which means, like, it's a lot of money. They care about everything, And when you're hired to come in from outside, you want to do a good job.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, God, I just fucked this whole thing up. And I was just like, all right, well, thanks, guys. And I put the mic in the sand, and I take 3 steps away from the stage. And remember, I have to bring Dan up.
Oh.
I have to introduce him because that's how the show works when there's only 2 of us. So I take 2 steps back to the mic. I grab it, and I literally hit them with, are you guys ready for your headliner? And they fucking stare at me, right? HR Elf is running back and forth between me and Dan, trying to, like, get things going. And I'm just like, okay, well, you've heard him on Adult Swim. Give it up for Dan Mogul. And then they're like, and he comes on stage. And I'm surprised I made this decision because I was only like 2, maybe 2.5 years into comedy or so. I stayed in that room. I made sure I wanted them to know I wasn't rattled by this.
Oh.
I was like, yeah, I just ate shit in front of all of you. Every single one of you hated me, and I'm going to stand here, and I don't give a fuck. And so I stood off to the side where everybody could still see me, and Dan just starts laying into me. And he's like, no, that's what he has to do. He has to turn that room around. He has to get them on his side.
Okay.
They hated me, so he's like, wow, what a dirtball, that guy, right? Like potty mouth, wow. And they're coming around. They're like, yeah, we weren't ready for that at all. Tell us jokes about bunnies or whatever. And so he eases into it. He jabs me a couple times. I laugh at it. You know, people are kind of glancing at me. I'm laughing. I'm still having a good time. Then he goes into a joke about sex, I think, like just very kind of a little like dirtier than I was getting.
Mm-hmm.
And they turned off on him again, and they just were staring at him. And then I see this little like twinkle in his eye, and I'm like, oh fuck, like he's gonna double down. And he laid into him and went for the fuck joke. He just went for it. He's like, fuck y'all guys, I got this joke. And he like started telling it. He got about halfway through. He was probably at about 7 or 8 minutes in, and the HR elf jumps up and she's like, nope, we're done, get off stage, you're done, thanks for coming out. That was your comics.
Wow.
Most awkward vibe I've ever felt in a room. Dan comes off, he's pissed, he is furious because they told him he could do whatever he wanted, and now they're fucking with him.
Yeah.
They still pay us, obviously, which is also very good. They were also weirdly, like the two guys we were dealing with beforehand, they were very weirdly apologetic. Everybody else hated us, but they were like, we're so sorry, you guys, we didn't know that would happen. And we're like, what even happened? And they're like, well, the HR lady was freaking out. She didn't want somebody to get upset. And I'm like, well, but did you tell her that we're comics? And he's like, yeah, she was supposed to know. And so we
don't want any sexual harassment issues
exactly.
in the workplace.
From a little elf, right?
From a little elf. It's not a holiday party lady.
It was
Karen.
it was probably Karen, yeah.
Yeah.
And so we leave, and I'm already like, by the time we even get out the door, I'm already laughing. Like I'm like, dude, this was so ridiculous. And Dan's still pissed. He's like, fuck those guys, fuck them, fuck. It was just hilarious.
But you're like, but did you taste that steak?
This food was fantastic. And then by the time we got like back onto the freeway to come back home, Dan was like, all right, yeah, I realized like we still got paid. It's not the end of the world.
It's just frustrating especially with corporate gigs because word of mouth, a lot of word of mouth. And
they told him that they wanted to do a show there over the summer, like a weekly show. So they were like, yeah, if this goes well, you can do a show here this summer, and you'll
for the people staying at the resort.
And your comics will get rooms at the resort. And he's like, fuck yeah, I can hook up comics with this huge fancy ass resort gig in the summertime.
They probably were like, we thought we were going to get like a Bill Cosby type.
Yeah, exactly.
What's the guy with the Muppets or the puppets?
Oh, fucking Jeff Dunham.
We thought this was going to be like Jeff Dunham here, yeah.
You know what's funny?
Yeah,
if Jeff Dunham were to have started just now, he would have been canceled so quickly. That dude is so racist.
He wouldn't have made it out of open mics. Oh. But that's what it was back then.
That was a bad one. That was years ago. Let's talk about the one 2 weeks
that
ago.
That was the worst one up until a couple weeks ago.
I can't wait to hear this. Sorry.
Honestly, these go hand in hand for worst ever. I think the one a couple weeks ago might be the top spot.
Because you didn't get free food.
I did get free food. They made us eat with them again.
Wait, was this another corporate thing?
This is another little corporate party.
Maybe you need to eat in the hallway in the bathroom.
Well, here's the thing. This one was special because we were on a riverboat.
Oh, fun though.
It was, dude. I was stoked. Okay, you know the Booze Cruise episode of The Office.
Yeah.
That's what we were on.
No way.
It was 100% that.
Was there Jim and Pam?
It was a little smaller. There was no Jim and Pam. I didn't. Well,
who knows?
There were a couple nice people there. But so comic local headliner Jeff Foser.
Oh yeah.
He hits me up and he's like, "Hey, I got this riverboat thing. You want to come do it?"
And
I'm like,
"Hell yeah!
Yeah, fuck yeah, sign me up." I mean,
is it St. Croix River?
We launched in Hudson, so
okay.
I think that's in Minnesota River. No, that one's from the middle. I don't fucking.
When you said boat thing, I was the first
boat
thing that came.
I said boat thing.
You thought like
first
Minnetonka.
first thing that came to my mind was No Escape.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, let's get to the. I'm excited.
So, So Jeff's like, all right, we
Sorry.
gotta get to Hudson by 4:30. Boat launches at 5. We come back at 9. And I'm like, oh God. Like, okay. All right, no big deal. I'm still excited at this point.
Yeah.
It's for a company called Jerry's Towing. Okay, they have multiple locations all over Wisconsin. This is not a commercial for them, but they do.
And they're not sponsoring this podcast today.
No, Jerry's Towing. I'm sure they're lovely people, but the owner of the company, like Jerry. Okay, Jerry is like 75 years old. He finally hung it up after 50 whatever years, right? And so they're kind of having this party as he passes it on to his son, who's taken over.
Who's
and
also Jerry?
Who Dave maybe.
Okay.
But this is the first time they've had everybody from all of their locations together in one party.
Who's towing when shit's hitting the fan out
That
there?
was the funny thing is they're like, we've never shut down before. We always have had trucks on the road, but we don't right now for these 4 hours, and we can't do anything because we're on a boat. So we show up, and Dave is very hospitable. He's like, we got all this food for you, whatever drinks you want. Anything you want, it's all on us. Here's these hoodies. They had hoodies printed and like embroidered. He's like, here, yeah, we're so excited to have you guys. Go ahead and have a seat. And like, we had to sit and eat with the people, but they were fun. They were talking back and forth. And he gets up there and he's like, he just goes, okay, well, here's how tonight's gonna go. We're gonna have dinner. Then we're gonna have a little presentation, and then these comics are gonna come up and they're gonna roast you guys. And I look at Jeff and I'm like, did you know this? And he's like, well, yeah, he was kind of telling me about it on the way. And I'm like, okay, well, we eat dinner. Every time he mentions the comedians, he says these comics are going to make fun of you guys. They're going to roast you guys. So they're expecting like bumping mics like David Tell,
Yeah, I was
going to
say, they're thinking Jeff Ross is going up there and knows everything about them.
And we have dinner. After dinner is the presentation, which the presentation is Dave talking about the history of Jerry's Towing for 80 minutes. 80 minutes he sat there and talked about how in the 50s they had this, and the company's been around for like 57 years or whatever, so there's a lot of history there. And he's telling about it, how when he was a baby his mom would drive the tow truck with him in there, and there weren't car seats yet, so he was just bouncing around. And of course there's like 3 or 4 truck drivers in the back who are like, and that explains it, like those shitty jokes.
Yeah.
Like that's what
Those
they
one-liners.
wanted. Yeah, that's what they wanted, those commonplace easy super like Chris Duke jokes,
Son of a
Yeah.
damn it.
I only did that because she side-eyed.
Because Chris hates one-liners.
I
My
do hate
family
one-liners.
is full of one-liners.
Yeah, but like their one-liners are fun if they're good, but like those cheesy
Yeah.
ones where
That's
it's like,
Yes, exactly. That's
who let you in here?
we're
Like
talking
that
about
bullshit.
Iron Range.
It's not even Halloween.
one-liners.
Why are you wearing
Yeah.
a costume?
Yeah, why don't you take your costume? Yeah, exactly. So that's who we were working with. And so this 80-minute presentation was about the history of the company. For some reason, the history of this guy's ex-wife and his relationship, on how he met her, because he was like, he met his ex-wife by cheating on a girl he was dating, and it was
What the fuck?
weird, dude. It was weird. Everybody's crammed in the lower deck of this boat. All the windows are shut, so we're now just in this small, shitty room because
Watching a presentation.
and it's dark, so you can't look out the window and see the river anymore. So it's this shitty room. And I look at Jeff and I'm like, dude, he's been up there for like an hour and a half. Like, are we taking a break before we do comedy? For the love of God, can we please? And so Jeff goes up there, like after the guy kind of winds things down, and he's like, let's take a break. And so the guy's like, all right, we're going to take a little break. About 10, 15 minutes, everybody come back, and we'll have these comics roast you guys. And I'm just like, stop saying that. So we take the break. I go upstairs to get some air because there's like an upper deck where people were smoking and stuff. And everybody who was smoking is coming up to me and being like, oh, I'm so nervous for what y'all are going to say about us. And I'm like this was my
I know
moment.
Nothing about
Exactly. That's literally what I said. I was like, listen, I'm not that
type of comic. Like, I don't know you guys. I can't roast you if I don't know you and that sort of thing. And I was just like, I'll be funny. Like, everything I'll say will be funny. It just won't be, like, directed at you guys as much as you are expecting. And they're all just like, oh.
Oh, they were bummed about it?
Yeah, they were very, they're like, okay, I guess, like, and now it's like, well, go be funny. We'll see if we make you can make us laugh, So the break ends, and in the back of my mind, much like at Kill Tony, when I knew I was going to be drawn out of the bucket, I knew it was going to be worse before I got on stage. And so Jeff and we walked downstairs right before the guy like introduces us, and Jeff is like, all right, you ready to go? And I'm like, no, there's one more. And he's like, what do you mean? I'm like, there's one more bad thing. Just wait. And sure as shit, fucking Dave gets up there and he goes, all right, we're going to get your comics up here. But before we do that, I need to acknowledge this guy over here, okay? His name is Kevin. Kevin, why don't you come up here? And he brings this guy on stage and he goes, Kevin works with us here at Jerry's Towing, but he also works with a charity that deals with children's cancer, okay? Children's cancer, kids with cancer. He might as well have just been saying that over and over. Everybody in the room is getting bummed out. He closes the little speech about Kevin by saying, and Kevin, a couple years ago, lost his young daughter who was...
Oh, my God.
Jeez.
And so I look at Jeff, I'm like, yeah, this is what we do now. So then, after the Kevin thing, the guy goes, and it wouldn't be a get-together with Jerry's Towing if we didn't bring up Nate, who 5 years ago was killed by a distracted driver while he was trying to help somebody on the side of the road. Instantly,
There goes all your cancer jokes, distracted driving jokes.
Exactly. 3 people in the room start sobbing, openly weeping at their tables. One of them is Dave's 16-year-old son, he's lost it now. And in the meantime, 75-year-old Jerry from Jerry's Towing gets up and fucking old man waddles over to his grandson, like leans down, like takes an hour and a half to kneel down next to him so he can like pet his back. And he's comforting his grandson over this man who died 5 years ago, and everybody's still very upset about it. And then Dave says, so here's your comic, Casey Flesch. What the fuck do I do, right? I can't do anything. What am I supposed to do with this? So I just get on stage, and
you should have bore your testimony.
I do.
Like,
oh my
well, I
God.
was going to rip on Nate, but he's not here tonight.
Oh my God. You got to remember, I'm on a boat, okay?
I know, they
I
would
can't
throw you
run.
up.
I cannot run. I can't do
And you
anything.
can't swim because it's dark. He'll
There's
drown
80
for
tow
sure.
truck drivers who are the scum of the earth who are waiting to kill me, right? So I got on stage, and I'm like, this is the only thing I can think of to do. So I start telling the story. I'm like, I did this show in the UP in Michigan, and it was really fucking snowy. And wouldn't you know it, I went around a corner too fast, spun out, ended up in the ditch a little bit, couldn't dig myself out. I called the tow truck company. The guy came. He shined his lights on everything. He's like, no problem, we'll get you out of here. It took about 30 minutes. He let me plug my phone in the truck. He gave me some of his soda. He like gave me some snacks. And now that I think about it, that wasn't Jerry's Towing. That was a different company. Which is kind of funny,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
They
yeah.
fucking hated it. They hated
Well,
it.
I bet those truck drivers are like, well, I could have got him out in like 15
Yeah,
minutes.
that's exactly what they were just like.
Critiquing. It's like, why were you in the ditch, idiot?
And I ate shit. Fozer we knew it was going to be bad as soon as like he was
Damn
talking
it.
for 80 minutes, right? And so Fozer, who asked me to do 20 again, he's like, well, if you want to bail at like 5, he's like, I don't even care. Just do a little bit. Just bite the bullet. It'll be fine. Do
Try
it.
and loosen him up just a tad.
Dude, I still did 18 fucking minutes to those idiots.
Hell yeah.
I talked to them. They were stone-faced. One dude was pissed, okay? He was so mad. In the
What's his
middle,
name, Steve?
his name was actually Paul. It really was, because I kept saying palsy, and he was like, what? And I'm like, dude, it's not about you. This is
about me.
The only laugh I got that night was after Paul just out of nowhere just yells, fuck you. He just says that. When I'm in the middle of a sentence, he just goes, fuck you. And I just looked at him, I go, why are you so angry, man? And that got a huge pop. Everybody was like, he is. He's so mean. And then he had a legit gripe, by the way, because that 80-minute presentation paraded a bunch of the managers up there who like work in the office at Jerry's Towing. Paul had worked there for like 25 years and got no recognition whatsoever.
He was pissed.
And so he was already cranky and pissed, and you could tell like every shop or whatever has those guys who are never going to be happy.
Never.
And he was one of those. And so I lay into him a little bit, and he stands up and he goes, "All right, that's enough," and comes walking at me. And I'm like, dude, I'm in a boat surrounded by 80 people. Like,
got
what am
palsy.
I?
What do you want me to
I'm
do?
like, what am I gonna do? I knew there was a sheet cake behind me. I was like, if he's coming at me hard, I'm just like bullfighter getting out of the way, shoving him into that cake. It's gonna be
and that would have
hilarious.
gotten a really good laugh.
He wasn't coming at me hard enough to do that. So I was just like, I thought he was going to try to take the mic. So I kind of put it in my armpit and like held this arm out kind of ready to shoo him away.
I think that goes back to that time where you held that lady's head.
Yeah, exactly.
You just thought,
I'm a
gonna
big
push
fan of
Paul
the
back.
stiff
Yeah.
arm is what I am. Yeah.
It worked for you all that one time.
And Paul, he comes walking up. He gets about 2 feet away from me, and he goes, "I'm having a cigarette," and turns and goes away from me. And I was like, I didn't back down. I didn't like flinch or anything. I like stood my ground, and I was just like, okay, yeah, you go have that cigarette. Yeah, you see how afraid he is of me? All the rest of you should be pissing yourselves right now. And everybody was just kind of like, ugh. And it was, oh my God, dude. It was the fucking worst. I get done. I bring Fozer up. He eats shit for a half hour or whatever. You know, he did around 20, 25 minutes. And then we still have about 30 to 40 minutes on the boat after we're done.
Did you guys get cake?
No, I didn't eat any cake. The rest of the food was very good, but
Yeah.
we're standing outside in like the front of the boat where like you do the Titanic thing, you know.
Yeah.
And we're standing out there talking, and then I see Fozer just like he just, his face just drops. And I'm like, oh, like, what's the matter? And he goes, I haven't got paid. He's like, I still have to go get paid. And I'm like, okay, that's going to be awkward, but they'll pay you, you know? And he goes, no, I haven't settled on a rate yet.
What?
He told me what he was paying me, but with him and Dave or whoever was setting it up with, he was like, yeah, well, usually it's going to be about this to this range.
Oh, no.
And they didn't settle up. They didn't decide on one beforehand. And so Fozer walks in there knowing he's just going to have
He's
to
gonna
take
get the low end.
the lowest he possibly can. He still made a couple $100, I think, or something, but it was not anything what he thought it was going to be. And I even heard the dude, he was like, are you okay with taking this much? And Fozer was just like, yeah. Like,
Yeah, what are you going to do? I'm going to fight you on a boat about
oh
it?
my God. It was the worst. And I will thank Fozer. Like, I love Fozer. Like,
Yeah, that
obviously
guy is amazing.
not his fault in any
No.
way whatsoever. And we were laughing about it before we even docked the boat.
Yeah.
But I will.
They set you up for failure.
Yeah. Nobody could have done well in that situation.
No.
There's nothing we could have done. But Fozer, I will never make that mistake that Fozer did. So I thank him for like, I'm like,
you settle before.
settle on a rate beforehand every single time, no matter what.
Yeah.
And now I know that lesson thanks to Fozer falling on that sword for me.
Ooh,
Those are the two worst, man.
that's
I
fucking
mean-
brutal.
Those are pretty bad.
You know what else is probably going to be bad?
Do you have to
That little
sing?
girl on YouTube.
No. I've seen the one who smells like beef though.
Oh.
Have you seen that
A
one?
kid that smells like beef?
You haven't seen that one?
Well, we'll exchange these videos after.
Okay. Yeah, this little girl just goes,
So
"I smell
thanks to
like
Landon,
beef."
he found these for us. They're whole roasted crickets, Texas barbecue.
Texas barbecue, baby.
It says 6 grams of protein, crispy and savory. Sorry, I was reading the underneath. Sustainably delicious.
I would like to try some Texas
these crickets
barbecue
were
savior.
farmed in Austin, Texas.
Oh
The
shit!
little back paragraph is so funny.
Only made with Akita crickets. Our Aketa crickets are born and raised in Austin, Texas. They are farmed with the highest degree of quality, care, and transparency. Why eat Aketa crickets? Because they are extremely sustainable snacks packed with protein and truly delicious, perfect for the planet and your body.
Oh my god. Okay,
Um,
so the
I'm
part
aware-
where it's like this breed of cricket or
this
whatever, like who cares what kind
Okay.
of cricket it is?
This is what I don't have a stereotype in my head about people from the South, but it says on this, packet enclosed to keep product fresh. Do not eat packet.
Oh my god.
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
Holy shit.
That's fantastic. Do not eat. You can't just take a bite of this plastic, no matter how you want to, Daryl.
Crickets products may trigger crustacean shellfish allergies. Do you have any allergies to anything?
No.
About to.
I hope there's no cat hair.
I
in
just swell up. I'm allergic to crickets.
Maybe it would help with the bells, bring it up a little bit.
The
be so
swelling
funny.
brings your bells up. Yeah, there we go.
That's what
Wait,
I
we need-
said.
we need
he got
Layla.
it. You didn't need to explain. Oh yeah, Layla, crickets.
Dinner.
That's such a good yell. Layla crickets. You ready, Layla? Come stand by Casey.
Oh, I don't know if I can do it. I know we have to, but
Here, you can drink some of my water if you want.
Well, you have to take your...
okay, pass it. It's got eyes.
It doesn't look that bad, though.
All right, so...
It's like a little
I mean,
corn
there's no
nut.
wings or legs.
I mean, a leg just fell off of mine.
Yeah, the legs are still there for sure.
I don't think you understood what you were doing when you did this.
I
I'm
didn't-
not going to smell it. Normally we smell...
It smells like it smells.
Y'all are just doing one? Okay.
Do you want to do one?
It's funny. Did you see when Maddie picked her snack?
I didn't.
So she picked Turkish Delights.
Okay.
And I was like, then we take a bite, and she was like, "You guys are just gonna take a bite? Put the whole thing in your mouth."
yeah.
I was like,
Oh.
"Are you sure?"
Turkish delights are not very good.
Yeah, no, we
I,
all.
well, I don't even know what they are.
They're
It's
like
it's-
powdered goose.
I know. I thought the same thing, Layla.
It does
I
feel like
agree.
it's moving.
Ooh! It's
That's why I put
so
it down.
crunchy. Oh my gosh.
Well,
Hold on.
I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it.
I'm gonna take a picture of this first.
I'm upset.
Okay, should
I'm
we
sorry.
go one at a time, or should we
No,
go?
we do it all together.
We do it all
It
together.
does smell like the barbecue like the
Like,
sunflower seeds.
oh yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
It does. Okay, should we cheers?
What do they feel like? Crunchy. I mean, they look like crickets. I don't know what else we can say about these things.
Yeah.
Yeah, they
right.
they do have eyes.
They do have
the legs
eyes.
appears to be shaved off, but there are definitely
All my wings are definitely dried into his body.
This is the most upset I've been before we do a snack.
I can't eat his head first. I got to do butt first.
I'm not even looking.
Are you
to
taking a
see
bite, or are you
which-
going whole thing?
I'm going whole thing.
You don't have any eyes on yours? Do you
Oh,
want
that's-
some with eyes? Do you see? You don't want them?
Okay. Ready? 3, 2,
2, 1.
It's actually pretty good.
I mean, yeah, it's just kind of a crunchy snack.
Just do it, girlfriend. You can tell your friends you ate a cricket last night. Chop
Yeah.
it, girl. Don't think about
Get
it.
in there.
I am very impressed
That's
with you, Layla.
amazing.
I think at 7 I would not have eaten.
Oh
a
no,
cricket.
you
It's not
don't.
bad.
It's okay.
I know you don't usually drink caffeine. You can have a little sip of my soda. It's really nice.
Or you can sip some of this water if you don't like it.
It tastes like when you're playing baseball and somebody kicks dirt up and it gets in your mouth a little bit,
It is.
and you're like, "Why does it taste like sunflower seeds and dirt at the same time?"
It does. It's not really like bad.
It's not bad.
It's just like
If I didn't know if it was a cricket, then it wouldn't
I
bother
was just
me.
gonna say, if somebody handed me a handful and was like, "Put this in your mouth," I would say that's a weird thing to say, but okay.
It's sunflower seed shavings. I
It
feel
does have
it's-
like a seed taste.
I have to think like I've had shrimp with the eyes still on, so it's like, and I've had crawfish
like dirt.
Yeah,
Go
I'm
tell
with you,
Go
Layla.
tell your brother that you ate a cricket.
Love you.
Good job.
I am very impressed that you ate a cricket.
That was awesome. She just went for it.
I know.
She hated it and she powered through.
Yeah, and she didn't spit it out.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was great.
If I didn't know it was a cricket, I'd probably eat more than one.
Yeah, exactly. If somebody was just like, "Here, have these," It just looks like a little fried snack.
It just looks like little bees in there, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
What?
I just hit my stand goal. I wasn't even standing.
Oh,
Just so
God.
you guys know.
Wow!
So
Congratulations.
Casey,
We'll have to do a part 2. Or
yeah, we do
This
have
was
to do
really
a part
good.
2.
Yeah.
Like I said, there's a plethora of other things
I mean,
I'd
I'm
love
sure
to discuss. But
like you guys got bad times and stuff you have to.
yeah, well,
take
I mean,
care of.
I'm not worried about.
Sure.
For me, it's more. I mean, we say it all the time on here, but like sincerity is, I think, one of the most important things in the world.
Sure.
On top of hydrating, which you're already doing. And
Is that why your skin's so nice and shiny? Is you're so hydrated all the time?
No, I don't drink water as much as I should. It's literally grease. Like we ate at Culver's yesterday, and I had McDonald's.
What do you get from Culver's? What's your?
Just the Butterburg,
They're
you know.
so good.
But curds, upgrade
I've
to
never
curds.
had their curds.
They're pretty good.
I had their onion rings the other day, and I was
They're
like,
okay, but yeah,
wh-
it's just grease that's just exiting my pores right
that's
now.
fine. At least it's exiting.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's
Yeah.
nothing clogging it up. It's all
Mhm.
lubed up in there. Everything's just pouring out.
yeah, lubed up
It's like when
pores,
people.
bro.
So back in the day when people were doing the beer bongs, you were the guy.
That was
No,
You said you're like this.
I always thought that was, yeah, I could just dip my finger in there. I didn't even need to wipe
just
face
pouring
grease.
Do you
Just
think-
shake it off, and a few drops go in.
Dude, I love the idea of like in medieval times there being a greaser. Like somebody, they had the jester, they had the food tester,
Yeah,
and then somebody would get their beer poured and they're like,
Too much.
too
foam.
much head. Greaser. And then the guy would just,
Come in. He would. There would be one guy and then another wiping guy. So he would just come in and throw his face out and then handle.
yeah,
Isn't
exactly.
it funny now as an adult? You're like, pour the beer correctly in the fucking
Yeah,
tube. Then we
exactly.
wouldn't have all that foam.
One of my
Or just wait.
friends. Yeah, exactly. Just be patient.
Just wait a second.
One of my friends in high school used to like to get the really squeeze the tip of my nose and get all that stuff to come out. It hurts like hell, but it's funny, dude.
To
Because
be the greaser?
No, he's,
like if you
I
go
know what you're
like
saying.
blackheads and
Oh,
shit,
yeah.
it hurt so bad, but she's loved to do it, and it would kind of make me laugh a little bit because it would be like, dude, sometimes like I had bad acne in high school as well, and so like there were some where like the little string of
And then bake the worm.
yeah, it would go like and
I
it would
love
like
that
spiral.
Here.
What? We're doing the Minnesota goodbye
Yeah.
now.
Oh yeah, we gotta get out of
I
here.
was gonna say.
I was
So this will come out in about a week,
okay.
5 days if I can do it right.
Which,
Yes, I wanna know what shows you have coming up.
Promo.
plug yourself.
What do you got going on? Social media, if you have a website.
All my social media is just my name.
Well, how do you spell your name? Because people hear Flesch and they think.
Yeah. My name it's actually pretty simple. My first name is KCCASEY, and Flesch is FLESCH. And that's all my social media, like Twitter, Instagram. I am on Instagram more than Twitter. I very rarely use Twitter, and I'm definitely not stalling to look up my dates right now. So
No.
okay, November 15th, the roast of Andy Matfield. I will not be attending because I figure that is the biggest roast of them all. And I have a Don't Tell comedy show that evening. I am not telling you where. It's in Minneapolis. Buy a ticket. You find out day of where that is.
Oh, that's right.
Where do you buy your tickets?
Don'tTellComedy.com. You can find, we have, it's like a franchise of comedy shows. So we're in like 40, 45 different cities. You go to Don'tTellComedy.com, find Minneapolis, and then it
So
lists-
you don't know where it's at or who's going to be doing the comedies
Well,
you buy?
I do, but people who
No,
buy
oh,
tickets
okay.
do not.
That's cool.
It's a mystery lineup. We usually get a couple people from out of town, some big name headliners and stuff. Like in LA, they have them in LA, and like Segura's done them, Christina, Todd Glass, Swartzen, like Eliza, Todd Bear, like just any
Yeah.
huge names do them out in LA. Like when Todd Glass was, I would keep just talking, but when Todd Glass was at Acme, I went up to him after a show and was like, "Hey, I run Don't Tell Comedy here," and he like freaked out. He's like, "I love Don't Tell Comedy," and he like was yelling to everybody in the bar, like, "Don't Tell Comedy is great. These guys do it right." And so like It's this fucking awesome movement going across the
That is
country.
really cool.
So we have one of those on November 15th. I'm trying to set one up for the 29th or 30th as well. But
I mean, I'm gonna cut that out because I have.
yeah.
So fuck you.
That's fair. And other than that, I run a monthly show at 10K Brewing in Anoka. It's just kind of all over.
You're the one
place.
that runs that.
Yeah, that's me, dude. I've run that show for 4 years now.
I was gonna say I've been hearing
I didn't
about
know
it
there
for a
was
long
brewing
time.
company
Yeah,
in
yeah.
Anoka. Oh.
Yeah, we just got
Halloween and methamphetamines. Anoka.
Yeah, we just exactly. We just got moved into 10K Brewing has a new. It's called the Empire Room. So we are no longer fighting with bar noise and anything like that for that show. We are in our own room, and it makes
Wow.
the show much better. That one is on Friday, the 22nd of November. 21st of November, Thursday, I will be headlining the Minneapolis Cider Company, I think. That one's me, and Ellie Hino is featuring for me, so that one is going to be a hell of a show. LA, I will be in LA. Nobody from LA listens to this.
That's not true.
I'll be in
We
LA.
had William Montgomery on the show.
Yeah, I heard of him. I'm just kidding. I'm sure he'd love it. 5th through the 10th, I'll be in LA. I'll be in Wisconsin, December 13, 14. And New Year's Eve, I'll be in Grand Forks with Tim Harmston. And I think
Damn it.
that's it for the rest of the year. Are you upset with my dates?
Sorry, I don't know why I said that.
Ask me about my shows.
Because I was Tim
Do you have
Harmston.
On Friday, I'm going to see Hanson.
Nice.
Oh, you mean like shows? Oh, no, not me.
No, let's do that.
On Saturday,
Trust
on the
me, I
9th,
care
I'm going
more.
to see Chris D'Elia,
Ooh, where's that one?
State Theater.
Nice.
He's
that's
filming a
fun.
special.
Yeah,
Sick.
He's doing 5 nights? 4 nights.
two shows.
What?
One night.
He was doing 5 at first.
No, I know things changed.
Oh, wow.
Anyway, that's my life. I
That
have
sounds
nothing else.
awesome.
I know.
No, I would much rather do that than go to Sheboygan. So
Oof.
Oh,
that's
No
where one
thanks.
of those was.
yeah.
Every Tuesday, obviously, at the Nordic Brewing Co. in Monticello, you can come and see amazing comics. Casey Flesch has been there and done fantastically well. Acts like Corey Adam, Ali Sultan, David Harris come through to test out some of their new stuff and some amazing experiences have been had
It's a fun
watching
spot.
people fuck around with crowds that they've never seen before. I mean, obviously you're used to folks like that, but there are some people who have only done cities mics,
Mm-hmm.
and when they come and see people like the Larson family, they're like, "What the fuck?" And shout out to the Larson family; they're amazing. But also November 27th, Jason Schomer, Jody Maruska are going to be headlining, featuring. I will be hosting,
Nice.
as always,
At Nordic?
at
Yep.
Nordic.
Sick,
are you
dude.
eating more of those?
Yeah, dude, I love crickets.
You son of a... God damn.
You savage!
You are a savage.
That one was way crunchier.
That sounded so. It crunched before you bit down
Yeah.
on it.
It was wild.
December 31st, Mike Brody will be doing our New Year's Eve show at
With
the
who?
Nordic Brewing Co. We haven't decided who yet. But Mike Brody will be headlining that bitch.
That'll be fantastic.
And, God, you know what?
Come to Grand
I would
Forks.
love if it was Mo and Mike Brody on a New Year's
putting it
Eve
out
show. I
there
feel
in
like
the
that would be
universe.
fucking awesome.
They
Their
just-
energy is so good.
They just went somewhere together.
Did they?
Oh.
Missouri or something.
See, they make so much sense as a pair.
All right.
They
That'll
have
be a good
happy
show.
eyes.
Yeah.
Like when they look out into the crowd.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. They're like a good server where you're like, you leave Applebee's and you're like, that guy was so nice. I hope he does well. Like they're both just they both just fucking crushing it.
Oh.
Us
Other
30-year-olds,
than
we're always
that-
looking at young bucks like that. I hope
Laugh
they
at
do
the
well.
Loon. The Pickled Loon in St. Cloud, November 22nd.
Are you on that show?
My dog, no.
Your dog is
My dog is.
doing time.
My homie Max Weirs, as well as also an amazing individual that I have only heard of the last couple months, Khadijah Cooper,
Yeah.
will be headlining. She is fantastic. I feel like she's an underrated individual, and I hope that she gets more gigs because I fucking love listening to her on stage. And as always, make sure that you follow. Duck Grey Duke we're still fighting iTunes. I don't know why they hate us so much, but we've had 4 different individuals try to help us, and iTunes is like, well, go fuck yourselves. So follow us. You can subscribe on Spotify,
SoundCloud.
No, not SoundCloud.
Oh,
SoundCloud
sorry.
is a fucking wasteland.
You start the whole thing over again.
Damn it.
So you can follow us
Gotta
on
start-
Spotify, YouTube, and Podbean. I didn't realize how many people are on Podbean, but that is, if you're a podcast listener, then our shit is on there. So go do those things. Subscribe. Obviously, all social media. Duck Grey Duke.
You
The
don't wanna
book
follow
face
my
and the
boring
Instagram.
stuff.
If you want to see Kim Duke's big titties,
No.
you can go.
Jesus. Wait, what? Hold on. No, you can't end with
Casey!
objectifying your wife.
13 years of this shit.
13. I don't listen.
How dare
You're
you.
a very beautiful woman. But we don't need to
Chris
see.
started a personal account about me.
How dare you?
I don't even run it.
Shame.
He's not shaming. He's trying to protect me.
Listen, don't objectify women ever, even if you own them by marriage. And
And
don't tell comedy.com. Go to it.
All right. The last thing that we do, Casey, is
there's more.
our listeners are called ducklings.
But
Our
wait,
tens
there's
of listeners are called ducklings. So we say, au revoir, little ducklings, quack, quack.
Or raw little ducklings quack quack.
Fuck off.
Good
Just kidding.
job.
Au revoir, little ducklings. Quack, quack,
Quack, quack, quack, quack, quack, quack, quack, quack, quack, quack, quack, quack, quack, quack, quack, quack, quack.
All right.
Flying V.
Good job.